go. Here we go. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Y'all chilling? Hold on. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? It's your only boy. It's your only friend in these YouTube streets, Puerto77. Yo, we got a show for you today. You're going to learn today. Woo, there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings in the streets. There's going to be a lot of hurt feelings in the street, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because we're here to preach truth. We're here to preach facts, you know. And I got somebody, a special guest. Well, he's not a guest. He's family. Because he was a guest the first time. Now, he family. But I had to call in some backup. I needed somebody that, you know, he hosts the Pegasus Court. So he's all about justice and facts, right? So I got my man, Guap. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, my brother?
Hey, Guapzilla in the house. You already know what it is. Power to the people, shedding the light on the truth. Shout out to the homie Optimus Code that got the whole Pegasus Nation started right here on the 60 Frames No Lag podcast. Ironically, when you guys coined the phrase, and ever since then we've been on the road, man. You know what I mean? So we lead with love and beat the people over the head with truths and facts. That's what's up.
Facts, man. Glad I was able to get you last minute, man. I mean, you know you're always welcome here. But I really needed you to be here today because you got something. You hosted a space, but you got more info, in particular to Xbox Series S, and we definitely need to hear it. But thank you so much for being here, Messiah, Craig.
Hey, how's it sound?
What's good? You sound great. You sound fantastic.
Okay.
You sound like a professional radio host. Today's an interesting day, huh?
Yeah. I figured this was gonna pop up. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay for a little bit. I got a strong 40-45 with all these subjects. How's everybody doing?
And we're gonna make every minute count. Every minute count. You understand what I'm saying? All right. But hey, I'm glad you're here. Appreciate it. To everybody who showed up, hit the like button. You know what to do. You know that I kindly ask. Hit the like button. Retweet it out. We're going to kick it. I see the chat is lit. You know who we got up in here? The chat is lit. And, all right. But, hey, once again, thank you for all the people who've been rocking out with the channel. The channel's been growing nicely. It's back on pace to the period of where before I left for Germany. Because while I was in Germany and Europe, things slowed down because of time zones. I'm telling you, hosting a podcast on gaming is very American-centric. Like, for all you European content creators, man, big ups to you guys because you guys have a challenge because almost everything is based off the American time schedule and you have to be up like at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning to keep up. Like, it's crazy. It's very challenging. So for you guys, shout out to you guys who's putting in that work, you know, overseas and stuff like that, right? But hey, to all the members and, you know, to guys subscribe, thank you for rocking out. Truly appreciate it. You know, keep the chat going, keep the channel growing, stuff like that. Membership is live. That's an option if you choose to support the channel that way. But the only thing I will ever ask of you guys is subscribe, like, and join in live and participate in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy, you know, the chat and the conversations within the chat. But up in here, we got Emmanuel. We got TK up in here. We got Arc War Angel, Spider Silva. Jackie, what's going on? Leech is up in here. Carol Anchor, what's up? Who else we got? Sam C, what's good? PS Rewind, yep, let's go. 1985, Adrian. J Vaughn, what's up? Osvaldo, what's going on? Osvaldo. Is it still pronounced with a W? Is that Russian? Is it still Osvaldo? Or is it Osvaldo? You churched it up? You know, we got Waleed Mishal. Holy cow, you guys really testing my literacy capabilities here. We got the lame up in here. We got Post Up is Little Ronnie's son. We got the Senin Gamer, Mass Produce, C Fresh. All right, who else we got? We got Gaming Night, Advocate 1818, J Ro the Man, AC, what's up? Sergeant, what's good? DDP, what's good? That's Misi. Oh, he said Guap is fire. Yo, he's excited, Guap. AC's all excited. The Ruham, what's up? Shout out to my boy. Been here for the longest. What else we got up in here? You know, Captain Ply. I hope you all had a good week. I hope everyone had a good weekend. You know, did you have a good weekend, Captain Ply? You know what I'm saying? And I know it's Monday, but happy Mother's Day to all those out there. I hope you guys have enjoyed your time with your mothers, right? Who else we got? We got Gangsta Gummy Bear. My man said I only been to Frankfurt Airport. Even the beer in the airport is good. The Turncoat was good. We got Glacian, what's up? And, you know, Danny Stab, True Virgil, Tevin Ruff, and of course, Guap is in the chat. Nipsey Eternals up in here, and we're going to kick it. We got over 100 viewers really quick. Hey, hit that like button, because that helps trend the video. That helps it gets it out there. Helps more people to jump in, join the conversation. It grows the family. So just a simple hitting the like button and retweeting it out. Just simple little thing. It goes a long way, right? Oh, is Gaming Persona up in here? Oh, yeah, he is. And hey, Gaming with Persona, if you have the chance to jump in so kindly so we could get some viewpoints, because I think some of these topics needs as much personality as possible. So if you could so kindly jump in as well, it would be most gracious. All right? But anyway, we got the crew. Oh, Project Cloud stepped up in here. What's going on, my boy?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
Oh, man. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Everybody celebrated Mother's Day. I guess, you know, everything went good for Mother's Day and all that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
No. Oh no, because I was kind of nervous. No,
I didn't know that was just a general question. You were talking to somebody specific.
Well, it was a general question, but I was kind of nervous because I didn't want somebody to come out. My mom left you. I was 5. Fuck her. I'll be like, oh shit, my bad. You know, I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh shit. I hope I didn't bring out some painful memories. All right, but we're gonna get into the first topic. All right, and the first topic is, you know, so over the past weekend. So Microsoft, the Xbox service shut down, and many Xbox gamers were impacted by this to the point where they couldn't even play their offline games because apparently the console was still locked out without an actual check-in. Now, some people will say, no, I'm fine. Other people will say I'm not fine. Okay. All right. Let's see how familiar everyone is, right? We'll start out with Guap, the guest.
Hey, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and the sons and the daughters out here. I hope everyone had a blessed weekend. It was a magnificent day for me. You know, beautiful weather, sun is shining, dinner and all that with the friends and family. But now we on to more pressing business in regards to the DRM situation in the Xbox ecosystem.
It's time to put on the suit. It's time to roll up the tie. Get back to work. It's time to get back to work.
It's time to get my pocket protector nice and ready, my glasses unfogged and my magnifying glass out. Just to tackle this subject, because we all saw the community unite in its outrage against Gran Turismo 7. Xbox fans, PC fans, PlayStation fans alike. I, for one, was very harsh on Sony, and I demanded that
is true.
I started to spread the hashtag "fuck you, pay me"
That's
when they
true.
were making all these excuses up about how they were patching the game. My whole position was, if you sold me a product and I'm enjoying that product, don't take it back and remake it to benefit yourself in a financial matter without my consent. And they listened, and they gave everybody $20. So that's water under the bridge. Here we have the Xbox outage.
Very fair. Hold up. So to point it out, you were very critical of what Sony did. You were not having it.
Yeah.
Because I remember that conversation. You were like, how are you going to sell me a product, describe it in this manner, then when I buy it, gotcha, bitch, I'm going to change it around. No, because you didn't buy what they changed. You did a great point. I remember those tweets. I'm like, yo, he made a good point. It's one thing to make a product. It's one thing. Who's it? Somebody, John? You? Oh yeah, Persona. Woohoo! We got the fam up in here. We got the fam five. Oh man, we're gonna make a killing up in here because I got to get your opinions on some of these topics. Some of these new topics that just appeared over the last hour. I'm like, I need help. It can't just all be me. But back to Guap, right? But shout out to Persona, right? But back to Guap, I remember those tweaks, because you made a good point. I'm like, there's a difference between improving a product and making it a better experience, but there's also a difference completely changing it. And now it's not what you bought. Good point. All right, keep going.
My bad. So yeah, Sony gave us $20 for there was a 36-hour period where we couldn't enjoy the product we had paid for. A big stink online. Obviously, every publication under the sun ran with it. Your Kotakus, your Eurogamers, your Yang Yeahs, they were on it within 5 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sony is anti-consumer, banging the fuck out of the drum. Sony did acquiesce, and I think the ecosystem in Gran Turismo 7 is now totally respectable. They also gave us $20, which is always going to win my favor when you give me money. If you want to shut me the fuck up, then just pay me, and I'll shut up immediately. And that was for a 36-hour outage, and now we saw with the Xbox system, they were down for over 90 hours, which was a full 4 days, in various aspects of their service. And the thing with Xbox is we always hear about how it's a multi-tiered ecosystem, with the Azure cloud and the best online in the business and the check-in system and how Game Pass is amazing. But the fact was, over the weekend, they didn't have any games. On top of the fact they have no games, which when I say that, I mean relevant AAA first-party bangers released in the year of 2022.
Wait, Crossfire don't count?
Then, I mean, are they willing to explain? I heard man one of them claim Crossfire. but if to be fair, P-Rock,
Persona be playing Crossfire, don't you, Persona?
Even I wouldn't dare trek into that bullshit.
Persona be like, don't be lying on me, poor Rock.
Absolutely not.
Because somebody might clip that.
So like
but
DLC.
Oh shit. Oh man, don't summon Jaffe, man. We buried that beef.
You're about to summon King Jaffe up in here. Be careful,
That dude hates my guts. That dude hates my guts. But yeah, if they want to claim Crossfire, I'd be willing to give that to them. We can put it alongside the Sifu's, the Horizon Forbidden West, the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, the Ghostwire Tokyos, etc. But they don't. So in regards to this, I just think this is a perfect opportunity for the community to come together for a common good, because we shouldn't have anybody defending not having access to something they paid for. You would think this would be a fucking layup for the community to have one unified voice, but what do we have? Motherfuckers interrupting the conversation to say, I can play my games.
Don't impact me.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody asked you. We're talking to the people who can't play their games. We want to know why can't they play their games and what can be done to get them access to the product they paid for. And you would think that this is beyond fanboyism, but it's crazy because even that becomes a convoluted discussion where all sorts of accusations are thrown about. But the fact of the matter is, does it play on Twitter? They did a very in-depth coverage on this, and they found out that over 93% of PlayStation and Switch games can be played from day one with no internet connection, whereas on the flip side, that only applies to 7% of games in the Xbox library. And just to be frank, that's something that needs to change. So just to go in on that, that's my perspective on that. If we can't unite on this topic, we ain't never going to get shit done. You know what I mean?
All right. Excellent. Thank you for the comment. So I'm going to go with Craig next, then Project. Persona, I'm going to save you last because I already know you're the nuclear option. We can't launch the nukes first. We gotta gradually build up the violence. You might as well just hit the button right now. Like, damn, you couldn't at least send a couple of Marines first? Like, fuck. Like, you launched your nukes already? Like, no, like it's not that serious. Fucking have the Ukraine. Like, all right.
You already know I'm going in.
I know. So Messiah, I know you. I'm like, oh my god, if I give it to Persona now, it's over. So Messiah, let me get your stuff. So weekend shutdown. Gamers can't even play Tunic. Like nothing. Nothing. What do you think? What's going on, Messiah?
Well, I agree with what Wop said. I mean, to me, it just showed the hypocrisy. They literally were. I saw, you would think people could just be like, yeah, look, this is a messed up situation. People went out and bought hardware to use it for their software, and they couldn't, like you were saying, for up to 3 to 4 days. And I saw people pulling out stuff from 2011.
The big network shut down.
Yeah, it's a display of their hypocrisy.
11 years ago.
The thing with Gran Turismo, what people need to understand is that is more a reaction to, I don't want to have to go out and pay $70. Therefore, the game that when it comes out, there should be no problems at all. You shouldn't have no patches, or again, there's just a reaction to that. Now we've seen the financials. It's a dead issue. It is a dead issue at this point. So, but the whole thing was the media didn't. It took them a while. It took them to the third day. That's when I started seeing articles from Eurogamer, and finally, Yang Ye, his video came out today, and earlier, something like that. So, again, just more hypocrisy exposed, and that's just not a good experience when and it's anti-consumer, because that's anti-consumer antitrust, because you bought something, you have it, you've paid for it, and now you can't access it. So, and it is what it is. That's why I was like, this is the most anti-consumer thing I've seen, and people are defending it. So, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Just straight hypocrisy, trash. Just people were screaming, online, and like Guap said, you would think everybody could come together and agree that this is bullshit, but they couldn't do it. So, it is what it is. That's pretty much what I got on it.
Now, to be fair, the reason why we're seeing the articles now is because they don't really play their Xbox. So today they finally decided to turn it on. They realize they can't. So they're just noticing now.
Well, I think the fact that you could not stick, people were trying to put discs that they owned in. I know. And what it shows is that they don't own it. And Microsoft said, in order to get into our club, you got to give us minimum $300. And you're not going to be able to. You all you can do is come in. You can't do nothing else. You don't own anything. You can't sit nowhere. No drinks. You're just coming in here. So it's crazy that they have decided. Well, this is what we're going to do, and how they're defending it. I mean, it's just unbelievable hypocrisy. And if I had something physical and I could not use it, it would have went back to the store. As a matter of fact, I did see multiple people taking their Xboxes back because it was broken at that point. It was broke for 90 hours. But now everybody knows you don't own your products when you buy them with Xbox. So you don't. And people can just knock it off. You're trash at this point, in my opinion. You're trash. This is why ownership is important. And I heard people talking about saving old games, whether it be through ROM or emulation, whatever it was going to take. Hopefully that's a lesson for everybody. But go buy. I can't even say the Xboxes anymore. Maybe they've always known. Why buy our games? We don't own them. So they're just going to give it to us in this service, and they're going to be incomplete, like Halo. So which, like I said, those people should be put in jail for what they did to Halo. God damn. And the ones who did the TV show, they ought to be locked up. That was ridiculously bad. I mean, that was so bad.
My man said they should be tarred and feathered for this nonsense.
They should be put in jail. I mean, for what they did, they were destroyed.
It's a capital crime.
They stealing.
Oh shit, my man John
is gone.
Oh, listen to this.
It's ridiculous what they've done, but they're putting up with it.
All right,
they're putting up with it. And so to me, it's like, well, this is just one more reason not to have it, because you don't own anything. It is clear as day, unless they change their policy. Which it would shock me if they did.
Well,
you don't own the stuff that you're going into the store and buying.
They would have to change their whole OS.
Yes, that's what we're going to talk about, because this is a legacy issue from the Xbox One. But let me get the super chat. John Baptiste.
Yeah.
So super chat $20. This is what he said. He says, as long as you have Frogboxy X1 gaming things, will never change. I guess Frogboxy is a YouTuber, captain for Xbox. He says, will never change. He made a video that tried to justify it. I couldn't even play that Crossfire X campaign. Damn, my bad, damn. I'm sorry to hear that, John. And it's even sadder that you have Xbox YouTubers that are trying to build their channel by capping for Xbox, and they're actually making excuses for this. Like that's insane. That's absolutely that shit makes no sense. Like, why would you even like co-sign for this? Why would you co-sign a system where gamers can't play games? Like that don't make sense.
Since when does the consumer not trying to get over on the corporation and get every dollar out of them? This shit is crazy. Excuse my language, but Jesus.
Project.
We're supposed to be the consumer. We're supposed to always be right. And these guys are like, no, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
I don't want to play my game.
In fact, if you're trying to play Xbox on the weekend, you're wrong. I'm like, what? But yo, Project, what you think about this whole conundrum?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of reality of no AAA games, so-called, kind of leaking into, hey, you actually have no games to play. so
now it's literally...
there's a little bit of that.
You literally have no games to play. It's no longer a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, now we can get excited about the Xbox Showcase next month, because we had no games. So,
oh my God.
I mean, look, I haven't looked into the issue fully, but I'll say this. We should, in general, have the knowledge that in order for games to work, the operating system and whatever infrastructure Microsoft has set up has to inherently work. It's not like the Nintendo 64 days where you literally have an offline system that's just reading cartridges, that nobody knows but you. So I don't want to sound like I'm making an excuse for it, but what I am saying is that if their updates to their operating system fail or something on their network fails, like, it kind of makes sense that maybe at some point some games won't work. So I would say, as far as preservation, we always were reliant upon Microsoft having a stable operating system. But certainly it is unfortunate that it did sort of take out even games that should have been offline and single player. So, I can understand it if it is a game that you launch through Game Pass or whatever. I mean, Game Pass is inherently DRM. Even the Microsoft Store is inherently DRM because you're purchasing it through them, authenticated purchases and all that. Now, can somebody clarify if they had issues with like offline disc-based single-player games?
Yes, people
that
confirm.
Was the issue? Okay.
Yeah, no, that too. So I'm gonna explain into detail because some people. So this is, and I'm gonna have Persona talk next, and then I'll do my spill. But just to start it off, and shout out to Philip Sin with the super chat. He's hitting it on the nose. Donnie D's DRM saying came true this weekend, because this is what this is about. All right. So to just put it in short, when Microsoft introduced and talked about how they're gonna do their games, and you always need to be checked online, and people got the big backlash, and Microsoft said, "Fine, we're not doing it." They didn't fix the OS. They didn't rebuild it.
Okay.
All they did was created a quick hotfix to where you can play offline for a longer period. Meaning, like before, the original system was 24-hour check-in. All they really did was just extended it. Right? And whatever. Okay. Some people say it's 36 hours. Some people say 40. You still have to check in. But what Microsoft gambled was, let's extend it to a certain amount of time to where... What are the odds that our online network will be out for 90 hours or 80 hours? So nobody will notice that the shit is gone, right? Nobody will notice, right? Now, there was one Xbox gamer. I don't know if you guys remember. Maybe Guap or Persona. You remember the dude named Kaleidoscope? He was an Xbox dude from last gen.
That sounds familiar.
The Puerto Rican cat. He used to rhyme. Kaleidoscope, the dopest X5. I'm like, yo, this dude, like, stop it, man. You're embarrassing our people.
Oh no, hell, I ain't never heard of him.
He's a funny dude, but he was one of Kaleidoscope. He's a Puerto Rican cat from Puerto Rico, right? He's a cool dude, but he was like Team Xbox, right? In fact, he made a funny video that Zaire clowned him on was because, the reason why people don't like Xbox games is because we don't got enough mocap games. And Z was like, what? The hell is you talking about? Not enough mocap games. It was funny, right? But anyway, so the reason why I'm bringing him up, because he lived in Puerto Rico, and this was around the time Puerto Rico got a hurricane, and the lights went out in Puerto Rico. And that happens quite often in Puerto Rico because of infrastructure, right? He was not able to play any Xbox games because he never set it up to offline, so his thing could not authenticate. It got so bad he couldn't even watch a movie. Like, it was a literal brick. So he went on Twitter. He's like, what the fuck? I can't do shit. And everybody's like, yo, do this. He goes, I can't do nothing. I can't even watch a disc movie. He popped in.
Watch Pornhub.
He couldn't watch a disc movie. He tried to put a 4K Blu-ray. It was the Xbox One S. He tried to put a 4K Blu-ray movie. And the box says he had to be connected to authenticate. To watch a product that's not even Xbox. It was a 4K movie. He's like, fuck it. If I can't do anything else, I'm at least watch a movie. Not even that. His box did nothing. Nothing. It was incredible how useless it was for like a week, right? And it's because Microsoft never actually got rid of their DRM system, right? All they did was extended the check-in. So the thing is this. The way Microsoft works with their check-in system is the box itself has to be authenticated. After a while, if the box does not get authenticated, that box is shutting down. It doesn't matter what you do with it. Disc-based games or things installed, whatever. It's not doing a goddamn thing until it connects to the servers and whatever. That's why Does It Play says that their games always have to constantly be authenticated because it's really the console that has to be authenticated. PlayStation and Nintendo and whatever then didn't do that. What Sony did was they used the home function. So if you have your console set as home, that automatically authenticates everything. So if your console set to home as you're the owner, everything you do on it, you do not need an internet connection. The console itself recognizes you're the homeowner. Everything you bought, purchased, licensed, whatever, will work. It is yours. And if you have the physical disc-based copy of the game, well, guess what? The disc is the license in itself. It's going to work. Everything works except for obviously multiplayer or games that require online, right? Because they have the home feature. But on Xbox, even though it does have a home feature, it's still at a certain point, it needs to connect to the internet. It has to connect to the service, Microsoft service at some point. Now, how long does it take? I don't know. Some people are saying 36 hours. After 36 hours, yeah, you're screwed. You got 36 hours between check-ins. I don't know if that's true or not. But there is a time limit, you know? And once that time limit's up, if it doesn't re-authenticate, your console's done. Nothing's going to work. Not even your disc-based game. It doesn't care. You could pop in a movie. It's not trying to hear that. You know? It's pretty much like Space Odyssey 2001. Sorry, Dave. I can't do that right now. It's not trying to hear it. You better connect that internet somehow, some way. Even if you have to do like a tether on your phone. You better do something. Because I'm not going to work until I talk to Big Daddy in Redmond. Right? But anyway, let me pass this on. Oh, wait, Project, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, so it'd be nice if that 36-hour limit or whatever, when it expires, you hear a voice of Don Matrix saying, we have a product for you. It's called the Xbox 360.
Yo, that would be terrible. Oh, snap. So let me hand this over to Persona.
There's a link to eBay to go buy a 360.
Oh, shit. I should have bought a PlayStation. Don Matrix would be like, hey, I don't work for Microsoft, so should have bought a PlayStation. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so we're going to go to the nuclear option. Yo, everybody put on your helmets. You know what I'm saying? Get your gas mask on, because it's going to be popping. My man Persona.
Hey, you got to summon them. Persona!
You know what I'm saying?
Like in the game.
Hey, yo, listen,
what
man.
You think about this, bro? Say it the New York way.
Hey, yo, listen, man.
For neutral.
Listen, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. You feel me? When it comes to all of this stuff, man. This is stuff. P-Rock, you remember back during the Facebook days?
Yeah.
You remember back during the Facebook bang bang days, man. With all this bullshit, right? Listen, man. This stuff is finally coming up and really biting them in the ass, right? Because one of the things, and I think Craig said it when it came to GT7, right? Mm-hmm. When somebody's got like a lot of background, like I hear like an echo or something like that. But when it comes to GT7, you couldn't scroll down your timeline without seeing GT article. Oh my God, I can't play. This is the problem with PlayStation. Oh my God, it's so anti-consumer. Always online. It's so negative. It's so bad. Oh my God, all this crazy shit, right? and with this whole Xbox Live being down and this whole DRM issue, crickets. Crickets.
Chirp, chirp.
You got Dexter Gary baking cookies.
You got the sequel to Bird Box live right now.
I can't see shit. Right? So, that's the whole big hypocrisy with this, right? When it comes to the actual DRM issues, I'm so glad that Does This Play, because this is like the second or third time that I've seen Does It Play actually like check some of these Xbox dudes and like really provide the facts, right? Because I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh well, PlayStation does the same thing too," and I put my video out like, "Hold on now, big fella,"
It's my opinion.
Hold on now, big fella. Okay, let's fact check the bullshit that you're saying, because right now you're spreading some misinformation. You feel me?
It's my truth. It's my truth.
It's my opinion.
It's my opinion. You feel me? And so it's one of those things where you got a lot of people in this community who are pushing this misinformation, and the biggest problem is that instead of acknowledging the problem, right? As much as we all crack jokes here and we give our thoughts and all that, we can all acknowledge the problem. And the problem is the DRM. The problem is that and it's not everybody. It's a small number of people, but there are people who cannot play their console. It's a paperweight. You know what I'm saying? It's a personal heater for those that like those type of things, right? And that is the problem. And instead of acknowledging the problem, it's let me run and get this 2011 hack. Where if you were around in 2011, I know I was. People were pissed.
Yes,
gamers were pissed. Everybody on the planet was pissed when this happened. Nobody could play COD or nothing. Exactly. Yeah. But you know what you could do, Puerto Rock? You can still play your games offline. Yeah. They're an anomaly. So and this is why it's so funny, P-Rock, because even with a situation like the 2011 hack, which was detrimental to PlayStation, which is detrimental to PlayStation gamers, you know what PlayStation gamers can still do? They can play Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. They can play God of War. They can play all the other shit that they play offline.
Facts.
It's my opinion.
You know how things go. P-Rock. They always have to do the whataboutisms and what about God, right? Here's the other side of it, P-Rock. It's the holiday. It's Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Now, P-Rock, imagine you and your mother, right? Or you and your wife's mother-in-law, right? Y'all all go out to breakfast and lunch and dinner. And then your mom looks at you and say, "Oh, P-Rock, I know you like playing games. I would love to see you play one of those games on the Xbox. I think Halo." Right? So you come home saying,
"You just disappointed your mom."
Sure, exactly, right? Sure, Mama, it's Mother's Day. Let's go home and then you can watch me play Halo Infinite. And then you boot on your Xbox.
She remembers when you were a kid. She missed those days. She missed those days when you were a kid playing on your Sega.
Exactly. Exactly. So she wants to reminisce those times with you and have a mother-son moment, right, P-Rock? And so you go in, you cut on your Xbox. You're like, "Oh boy, I can't wait to play some Halo Infinite." And then you click to play Halo Infinite. It goes. Must be connected online in order to play this game. Xbox has just ruined your Mother's Day.
Xbox says, "Thought it was."
They have just ruined your Mother's Day because you can't play no games, and that is people around the world, and it's disgusting. At the end of the day, this is a glaring issue.
Why?
That people need to be vocal on.
Oh, man.
It sucks. Because you know what I was doing this weekend? I was playing Trek to Yomi on PlayStation 5.
Oh, shit. That's it. They weren't.
Of course not.
They were. Shout out to Cloak Onyx. He says, "Don't know if you saw my tweet about the Xbox DRM BS, but I couldn't play Dead Space on my Series X unless I had the disc on my PC through Game Pass EA Play or through xCloud." Oh shit! That's
crazy.
That's some crazy shit. Now,
and what you see up and down the timeline is just people making excuses.
Yeah, and what's funny is because so many of these dudes are so indebted to defend Xbox, they don't even worry about their own self-interest. Even if you weren't part of the group that wasn't impacted by this, like, well, I'm fine. Well, that's because these networks are compartmentalized. So like if a certain region or a certain server goes out, it's not going to be 100% all consoles. It's going to be whatever group connects to that specific server, right? That doesn't mean if another server or another set of clusters get issues, now you are impacted. The whole point of this is like, oh shit, homeboy got his shit fucked up. Wait, what? You mean Xbox is still doing this? Yo, we need to change this because that might happen to me one day if another set of clusters or servers get impacted, right? That means anybody on Xbox, you can get it. What you saw these guys got, the same can happen to you. It's just a matter of time of when it does happen. You know what I'm saying?
P-Rock, it goes a step further though, right? Because like you got this whole, Game Pass is the future crowd, right? That's pushing all this. And it's like, yo, could you imagine if like Game Pass servers or whatever they're using to run that goes down and you paying $15 a month?
Because you know what I'm saying? Because that ain't going down. The $15 a month ain't going down.
Of course it ain't. No, they're going to expect to pull that money out of your account every month. And it's like, yo, this type of stuff is scary, right? Where people really need to start speaking up, speaking with their wallets or whatever they want to do. Because especially if you're someone that's really behind Game Pass, they really got you. They really got you by the balls. Yeah. Because you really have no ownership at all. At least if you're buying something digital, it's still, you've got some type of ownership because look, I pay my money to own this license, even if it's digital, I still own this.
Yeah.
You don't own nothing in Game Pass.
No, that shit is crazy. That shit is crazy what they're trying to do. That this shit don't work, right? And I know people want to compare it to Netflix or whatever. Well, what happens to Netflix now? You can't watch movies. I'm like, here's the difference between movies and games. If let's say you wanted to watch a movie, right, or a show, and let's say Netflix is down. Or let's say all them motherfuckers are down. Let's say Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, every single movie, TV, streaming service is down. Yeah, you're going to be pissed off, but then you decide, you know what, fuck it, I can't watch TV, I'm going to do something else, right? But for us gamers, that's not how it goes. Like, if I sit there, I'm ready to play a game, and I can't play a game, I'm flipping the fuck out. I don't simply just, let me read a book or play some tech. No, motherfucker, I want to play my shit. I'm going to flip out. I'm going to get on Twitter. I'm going to be like, we're going to figure this shit out. Because I want to play a game. I want to get my game on and I can't. I don't know. Maybe are you guys the same way? Because I get irritated if I can't play a game. If I'm ready to play a game and I can't, it touches a nerve. Like, it's not the same for movies. Like, if there's a show and I can't watch it, I'll be like, whatever, I'll watch it another day. But if I'm ready to play a game and something happens and I can't play, that's like, it's a little triggering. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's totally different because for gaming, we spent $400 or $500 on dedicated hardware. Yeah. Like most of the video streaming apps, those are just stuff that's included on your TV. You know what I mean? Like that stuff comes out of thin air. Yeah. So with the streaming app, it's kind of magic. Yeah. So the fact that you can just go on your TV and click a button and get a movie out of thin air is very impressive. With gaming, is different because we have this $500 console that we bought this to process and to deliver games. So when it can't even do that, it's totally useless because it's like
it doesn't do anything else.
So I buy a product from you, I go home with it, and before I get it out the box, you press a button on your remote and you make the shit useless? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm the biggest sucker in the world at that point. I just gave you a few $1,000s for a console and a bunch of games. I get home, I put the disc in, and this motherfucker's talking about, the network's down. Like, no, the game should be on the disc. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with this issue is we learned with the Halo Infinite release. I believe we already knew it, but it was just like an authentication chip on the actual disc. All it was. And for me, that just like, it's so bad. These motherfuckers are selling cases with no game inside of it at all.
That is crazy.
Like, and motherfuckers is buying it. And I'm like, I don't want to be around you people. Like, get me the fuck out of here. Because I'm going crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Yeah, death to DRM. Now, I don't want it to be taken in a way that I'm pro-piracy because I am not. The developers create a product. If they sell it, they have every right to prevent people from stealing it. Yes. My anti-DRM stance is not pro-piracy. If a motherfucker can get over, they can get over. Salute to them, whatever. I prefer for developers, if they put an actual decent product out, to be accurately compensated for it. So when I say fuck DRM, I'm not being pro-piracy. I'm just anti-DRM because it's appalling that people can spend all of this money on these luxury items, go home, and the fucking Wi-Fi is down and they're screwed. Like, to me, that... And we have all of these journalists telling us the Xbox strategy is the way of the future, but they're not doing the due diligence when it comes down to this stuff. And that's why I take issue with people like Paris and Romudeth. I forget Tony Polanco. It's because when they show us they have an ability to be very critical, but for some reason their critiques don't hit the same way when it comes to this particular brand. It's like all of a sudden they went from having fangs to a pair of dentures, and that's what disgusts me about journalism right now, especially American journalism. It's getting mixed up with this media influencer nonsense, and they flew me out to brunch, so I'm gonna give the game a +3 on the review. I didn't complete the game, but I'm gonna review it. Like, it's just so much nonsense, which is why I always preach power to the people, because we're not compromised. You know what I mean? The consensus we're developing is truly a beautiful thing, and I do believe in that. So, what's happening, J-Dub?
What's good, people? What's good, people? What's good?
Oh, the antagonizer in chief. So so now that the financials is out, J-Dub has time.
Absolutely.
He's done with his business meeting with Jim Ryan. Got the numbers ready. Got the numbers looking right. Now he has time for the little people.
The royal order of the Pegasus Nation is in the motherfucking house. Shout out to the Pegasus Nation.
Hey, I couldn't retire without coming on 120 frames.
With VRR. Ray tracing. Oh man. So shout out to Jason Hennigan. He said, "Hey there now. Xbox is the best box." Shout out to Smooth. My man's hurting. Has anybody heard from Smooth? I don't know. He might have been one of those. He couldn't play his games.
Smooth been in overtime today, boy.
Was he?
Damage controlling.
He's still waiting on Xbox to come up.
Oh,
that shit been down for the last 4 days.
Oh shit. He's doing pro bono work.
Yeah, big time.
He got his short skin. Cloak Onyx. Another super chat. He said, "I had Game Pass Ultimate since it launched. Since then, I feel like the Xbox networks are like Indiana's roads, full of potholes, and no amount of money will permanently fix it."
Man.
He says there's not enough tag dollars. So, hey, antagonizer in chief.
Yes, sir.
I saw your post. You had to sell your Xbox because you couldn't play it. You try to go in, play some Tunic. Trying to jump on some, you trying to support the brand, get them, what is it, Xbox user stats up by playing some games, and they can't even let you play games. What's going on?
Listen, it's sad, man. And shout out to Sony and Nintendo for allowing you to be able to play your games offline. To be fair. Minus the games that are online only. So I have to throw that statement out there. Because I know a bunch of people was crying about Gran Turismo, but we already know that's an online only game. So, But let's talk about Xbox. How, right? And I get it. I couldn't play my Bleeding Edge this weekend, right? I couldn't play Bleeding Edge. But at least you can let me play, let me finish the Halo campaign, right? At least let me play my Tunic. In my Yumi or whatever that game, whatever Tinky Winkies they got over there on Xbox. Man, you can't play your single player games. You can't pretty much play anything. You damn it, you couldn't even play movies.
You couldn't play. You couldn't play the greatest game of all time, Rise, the precursor to God of War.
The template. The
template. It set the template.
So here's my thing. This is bigger. This is a bigger deal for Microsoft because Sony and Nintendo obviously have options for you when their networks go down. They still allow you to play your if you got your discs and stuff like that. They still allow you to play your games. Xbox you can't, and it seems like the same guys that were rah around Gran Turismo that day that they had issues with the network for that game. These guys are suddenly silent. Your boy, what's his name? He actually took a vacation. He said, "Yeah, I'm on
holiday. I'm on holiday."
I'm like, come on, man, not like this. And everybody else. You had a couple of people, they stuck. You had a couple of people, shout out to Paris. He did kind of say, yeah, this DRM thing is, they got to work that out. They got to fix that.
He said, I'm on holiday.
Exactly. They didn't have the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Guap for saying that. They didn't have that same energy.
You
had 50 articles. You had 50 articles talking about Gran Turismo being down for some hours, right? But here we are. on the weekend for 4 days straight, guys couldn't do the basic necessity of that box. Yeah, so I boxed my shit up, man. I took it to GameStop and got me about $75. That's all they gave me for the X Series X. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, that's so it is what it is, man.
Yeah, listen, the man had a holiday. Hey. He was like, it's like no November. He said no gaming weekend. That's all it was. It's like no November. That's what he did. He did a no November. Coincidentally, when you really don't have a choice because you can't play Xbox games, so you don't really have a choice not to play Xbox games.
Hey, P-Rock. Then you got Aaron Greenberg out to dinner. People take like, hey guys, I know you can't play no games, but look at us eating all this ass food. Like, what?
He said, "Go touch some grass."
Yeah, they was out to lunch. Back in the day. That motherfucker was out to lunch. They was literally out to lunch while the network was down.
My man was they served Aaron Greenberg some vintage wine, and while he got a phone call and say, "Hey, Xbox is down," and he's like, "Hold on a minute. Can I get the 1917?" Yeah, that one. This one's
the vintage.
This was a little bit too dry. Yeah. Get that. And what happened again? Xbox. Hey, man, it's Mother's Day. Go do something. Click and hung up the phone.
Yep.
Yo, shout out to the Ruhab. He said, "I'm just paying my tithes." Great show, guys. Oh man, shout out to Ruham. Always a big supporter. But yo, this shit is crazy, man. This shit is wild. And the thing is the amount of damage control. Dudes, all of a sudden, bringing up the 2011 network shutdown. Like, that shit was 11 years ago, and it was on the PS3. Like, bro.
Exactly.
Got it. No one's damage controlling what happened with PS3. We know it had a big network. But what does that have to do with 2022?
Yeah.
2022, especially when Microsoft's all in on Game Pass and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
Put a rock.
Half of y'all half of these dudes don't even have a physical library. Some of them don't even buy games no more. Like, their whole entire library is Game Pass, and that's it.
Exactly. Listen, this outage, right? This 4 day straight outage happened the very next day after Satya Nadella came out talking about Fortnite is on all devices and with xCloud. You know what I'm saying? How the hell are you going to go out, hype up a cloud service, and then your network goes down for a week? Like, what are we doing here?
Apple like, oh, so you want to bypass our shit, huh? Apple like, he like that dude from the movie Belly with the banana.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Everybody's playing Fortnite without his consent. He's like, people playing Fortnite on my iPhones. I don't like that shit at all.
Oh man.
He's like with the banana.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. Cooking like, shut that shit down.
I just made a discovery. P-Rock, I just made a discovery.
What's up?
So since we're talking about the PSN outage from 11 years ago, I took it upon myself to look at the software lineup for the PlayStation 3 during that time. Keep in mind, all of these games can be played offline. I'm going to go over this list real quick. I'm going to try to prioritize the exclusives, right? So I'm going to try to stay to the exclusives. So in 2011, the PlayStation had the worst network outage in gaming history that we're aware of. Here's a list of games you could play offline that launched that year exclusively on the PlayStation 3. Little Big Planet 2, Resistance 3, Uncharted 3, Killzone 3, Infamous 2, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus Remaster Collection, MotorStorm Apocalypse. We have so many games here. The original Dark Souls. That wasn't an exclusive. MLB The Show 2011. Like, this list is fucking insane of games you could play offline. My question is, now that we have an equivalent outage, since people that are dealing with the Xbox outage want to point to the 2011 PS3 outage, what games, platform exclusives, is Xbox getting in 2022 that are equivalent to the 6 or 7 games I just mentioned there?
So let me answer that question. Shout out to Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. He said in the super chat, he can't even watch Phoenix Marie. My man trying to jack. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of stress built up in him. And he's trying to relieve himself, and he can't even do that. My man Xbox got him even more stressed. Oh shit. This shit is crazy.
Facts.
All right. Who we got here? We also got Garuda Legends. Hold up. Everything's going real quick. He said, it is a bleeding edge. When you struggle at casual games because you woke up and the sea is thriving your knees that had to escape and delay the third to get RoboCop knees to vroom vroom.
Oh, man.
This guy, is that a haiku? A haiku by Garuda Legends. Hatsuma, he said, Rock, Spencer's tweet not addressing it. It's E3. Oh, shit. Did Phil Spencer say anything? Of course not.
No, just Xbox support.
Fuck no.
He just said, yeah, talk to Xbox support. That's why we got them. Steady Flow. He says, got to donate when you got the top generals of PlayStation Nation in the building with P-Rock, J-Dub, Persona, and Guapzilla. Just missing Jay Bari. But Jay Bari's out here with his mom celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday to Mrs. Bari. You know what I'm saying? She gave birth to a legend. Thank you so much. All right, but let's move on to the next topic, right? Next topic. My man, the CFO of Sony finally chimed in, right? Let's ignore Sean Layden while he was at Sony and said, hey, our AAA first-party games are too expensive to support day and date. Might impact it because we might reduce the budget. They didn't want to listen. They didn't want to listen to him while he was in charge. Yep. Right? In fact, he left Sony. Xbox started making stories up that he got fired, yada, yada, yada. My man, Jim Ryan, said, hey, our games are high quality. They have a very big budget. Again, day and date does not fit the economy. It will impact the funding for these games. Nobody want to listen. Then my man, Sean Lennon, came back this time. My man, Persona, along with Jay Bari, they did what they did and they got him out of the shadows to once again go on live. And so far to this day, the only ones to do it. Because I don't think he's been on an interview since.
He's had an interview with Game Industry.
Okay, goddamn. So,
and I think
shout out
Moriarty had him on the show too.
Oh yeah, after, right? Everybody biting.
Shout out to GameIndustry.biz, the number one go-to place for PlayStation news, and also the What's Up PlayStation podcast, where it was confirmed the PlayStation fragrance was patented and is now in develop at Sony, thanks to fucking Persona and Jay Bari. Goddamn it, give them men's a round of applause.
What's up? I'm telling you, if you're not watching What's Up PlayStation, then you really don't like PlayStation. That's it. If you ain't Saturdays,
Sony is watching it. Clearly, Sony is watching it. They watched the What's Up PlayStation podcast, and they ran to the goddamn patent office so fast their fucking feet was on fire. That's what's up.
Hey, I'm shout out to you. Yo, we just had J-Dub on our last episode too, man. Was
he's doing his retirement tour, right? My man acting like Derek Jeter. Man, you don't get your ass out of here. He acting like Derek Jeter. Hey, this is my retirement year. So I'm going to do one last baseball season. All around. Motherfuckers collecting his gifts and flowers on every podcast.
Fags.
Oh,
you
shit.
You know what's the funny thing about this CFO quote, though?
Oh, yeah, let me read it. Let me read it.
Okay, read it. Go.
Yeah. So Sean Layden, live on What's Up PlayStation, again told people, listen, these AAA budget games, these big AAA big budget games are too expensive. Subscribing, like the subscriber, whatever, does not support the economy. Nobody want to listen. Jim Ryan came back again and said it again. It's not conducive to what we're doing. He even went into detail. Still, after all that, my man, Sony CFO, Hiroki Totoki, said I had enough of this shit. Listen, I will refrain from making comments, and this is his words. And shout out to Genki, right? Genki Japan. He put this up. The CFO said himself, I will refrain from making comments on the competitive strategy. That is the nice way of saying, fuck those other guys. I don't give a fuck. But he said it the nice professional way. I will refrain from making comments on the other competitors. Our current thinking is to have development costs, appropriate research and design investment for quality products, and that will improve the platform and also improve the business in the long run. AAA type titles on PS5. If we distribute that on a subscription service, we may need to shrink the investment needed for that, and that will deteriorate the first party title quality, and that is our concern. We want to make sure we spend the appropriate development costs to have solid products titles to be introduced in the right manner.
Thank you. End of story.
All right. The CFO, it says, I'm tired of listening to your shit. So here is what we're saying. I don't give a goddamn about Xbox and what they're doing. I'm telling you right now, our shit is high class, premium, roof Chris steak. So either eat steak or have your chicken nuggets in McDonald's. So shut the fuck up. That's it. He's like, shut the fuck up. Alright? You like chicken nuggets? Go to McDonald's. But in this house, it's fine dining. Listen, you don't even get the price on the menu.
Facts.
There's no price. If you think the price is missing, you're in the wrong restaurant. Restaurant. You don't get to see the price. What you get to see is order your food. You don't even get a receipt. Just give up your card. We're gonna charge it and give it back. You won't even see. You won't even know what you spent. All right, that's how we roll here. Yo, I'm gonna start with Project Cloud because he's been quiet. Hey, Project Cloud, what do you think of the CFO finally saying that he's tired of your bullshit pushing Game Pass? No, I'm playing. I know you're not doing that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Before you started mentioning, I saw J-Dub's tweet and I retweeted it myself. But yeah, it's a great comment. I mean, it just reaffirms that the quality games that I want will continue to come, and I think that's really important on a high level, CFO and CEO position to have that reiterated, because it's one thing if somebody on PlayStation says it, but when you actually have the chief financial officer, which arguably might have the most control of the balance sheet per se, that, hey, they actually realize what actually is beneficial to their bottom line, and that's actually continuing the strategy that they have. And not to mention, I do like the fact that sure, would I like Microsoft to have at least some adjustment in how they do things? Yes. But I do think it is good that we have competing business models, because I think it's important that both succeed, and gamers can make the choice of what they prefer.
Let me ask you this, though. So let's say this is successful in the sense of Microsoft making money, and gamers who don't want to buy games, they finally got a way to play a lot of games without actually having to pay $60, $70. But what if, because Sony sees, because Sony is really the only one that's actually addressing the actual money behind it. Like, hey, this system doesn't really support big budget games, right? Microsoft has been mum about that. They have not mentioned, they have not said anything about it. They have not said how it impacted the budgets. They haven't confirmed nor denied if they're still greenlighting big blockbuster titles, like projects, whatever. But what if, yes, it's successful in the sense of Microsoft making money, and successful for those guys who never really buy games. Now they finally get to play a lot of games because of this system. But it doesn't result in big blockbuster quality. What if from here on out, Microsoft games are just simply, it's okay. That's good enough. Do you see that successful? Do you still see that as a successful, good competitive nature to the industry, where Microsoft games are like, it's good. And that's it. The first party games are just, it's good. It's Game Pass. It's enjoyable. Only $15 a month. You can enjoy that. Would you see that as successful?
Yeah, I mean, certainly if they have mediocre to good games max on Game Pass, and I'm not talking about things that eventually come to the service that are fire, but day one releases that are let's say Game of the Year contenders, like, yeah, that would a lack of having that, I should say, yeah, that's certainly going to be a problem, because games that I want are Game of the Year type of games.
That's what I'm talking about. You are a man of refined taste.
Facts.
Yeah. But I'll say this, though. So Sony is talking about it more from their perspective, because perhaps in the way they finance PlayStation, it's not going to work for them in the long run to do Microsoft's model, at least right now. But on the Microsoft aspect, they have a lot more money that they can play with. And the analogy I would probably make is Microsoft is the Netflix. They're actually the guys spending... what I actually believe is that we are going to get AAA quality Game of the Year contenders eventually on Game Pass day one. It's just that, will that be in the long run something that's profitable for their business? I think that's a question mark. I hope it succeeds, but it's even Netflix is running into a bit of issues right now.
Yeah, they are.
They paying lots of money to talent, like crazy, sometimes 2 to 3 times what they get paid elsewhere. And Microsoft can do that, but it's just how long will they do that, and how long are they willing to wait for this to become profitable?
Garuda. Let me do this super chat. So Garuda Legend says CFD State of Decay and Farza Room. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Going through. Hold up. I don't know why this thing does this. Like all of a sudden it blocks some chat stuff. It's annoying. Hold on. Let me see. Going through. My man. Give me a second. Jason Hennigan, he says, you get market price, not China buffet price. I play PS5 with my pinky finger up. my man sipping on that fine tea, from the mountains from the Himalayas. Oh shit. And then we got the Senin Gamer with the super chat. I see that Euro symbol. My man's out there in Europe. Man, I miss Europe. Joe, he said, yo, P-Rock, that means Low Solar Site is probably getting some pretty good budget to work with. Glad it's in Sony hands. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've been waiting like 6 years for that game. Yo, this guy. Jesus Christ, bro. All right, so we're gonna go with J-Dub, right? We're gonna go with Derek Jeter. And one more thing. I told you Houston is one and done. I told you they one and done, y'all. You never seen another World Series with them again. One and done.
Media bias. That's media bias.
So what you think about this day and date games and stuff? And this, can this finally be put to rest? We got the Sony CFO saying, hey, and he even said, we not talking about them. We not talking about them dudes. I'm telling you.
Here's the problem, Puerto Rock. The CFO said that.
The chief financial officer. Yeah. Post like, who's he? What does he know?
The guy that controls PlayStation money, the purse. He's the guy. There's no other guy.
All of Sony money.
That controls that. Yeah, that controls that. So here's the thing. Even today, after this guy come out and says this, right? Sony CFO said that. You still have guys out there saying, because they seen the articles that were ran, right? The clickbait articles saying that Sony is, still going to considering day and date. I mean, listen, Puerto Rock, I'm going to tell you where all this stuff comes from, right? Let me break it down.
And it's from an article where a guy got paid $20 to do it.
Yeah, exactly. On IGN. Listen, this is where all of this day and date stuff comes from Sony, right? This is why these Xbox won't give it up. Because they know, right, that for years we've been kicking their legs in and we've been saying that Game Pass isn't sustainable for the quality of games that Sony's getting. They're not going to keep investing $300 and $400 million into blockbuster AAA IP like Sony is doing with their IPs, right? Mm-hmm. Sony's IPs sell their flagship games sell 20 million plus copies. Mm-hmm. Microsoft hasn't had anything close to that in 2 decades, right? So these guys feel like, well, if Sony can do a date, then we'll get some kind of vengeance back from them teasing us all these years, because they know that the big blockbuster AAA that they're looking for can't be sustainable. I don't care how much money Microsoft has. They're not going to keep throwing $300 and $400 million, right, at each and every IP just to make these guys happy in the fact that they don't buy games or play them anyway. Right? The best you're going to get is whatever.
Or they're using the Pop-Tart coupon that they got.
Exactly. They're like me, the Chips Ahoy, right? I done gained 3 pounds by eating Game Pass, right? So I need to cut out on my Game Pass. It's just getting,
fucking got type 2 diabetes over this shit.
Right. I'm gonna have to sue him pretty soon. Pass a lawsuit. But I mean, that's really what it is. And these guys want Sony to have that so bad so they can feel some kind of redemption from that. Oh. The fact that Sony, right, has these big blockbuster IPs that sell 20 plus million, that are their staple, and they're constantly adding to them. You got Horizon, right, just came out. Horizon Zero Dawn just came out. They sold 20 plus million copies of that game. Matter of fact, I have a list here, Puerto Rock, I want to share. Somebody just posted on Twitter. And it's very accurate. Spider-Man sold 20 plus million. The Last of Us series 20 million, God of War 20 million, Uncharted 20 million, Horizon Zero Dawn 20 million, Ghost of Tsushima is probably sitting around 12 to 14 million, and those are just games. Those are not like the new games, right? These are just games that's in their staple that they're making sequels to and stuff like that. So over the years, they're going to keep adding to that. People are willing to pay full price for great games, and these bots don't understand that. They think Game Pass is the end game and the be all, end all, be all. But guess what? The $1 coupon is okay. But if you want that goatee, if you want that banger, if you want the filet mignon, you spend these $70 and you're going to get that experience. You're going to get the stuff that people gawk for. You're going to get the games that Digital Foundry will zoom in 800% for, right? That's what you're going to get. Microsoft is not going to give you that. You're going to get whatever Bethesda throw out there, right? Because look at Bethesda track record. It's up, down, up and down, up and down. They're hoping some of the old games from the glory days, like the Skyrims and shit, is going to be able to bring them back to where they need to be. But hey, we don't know. I hope Starfield is successful, but their last game was Fallout 76, right? That was like one of the lowest scoring Metacritic games ever. And then, they're hoping that this whole Blizzard Activision deal go through, so they'll own COD, but it's going to remain multi-plat. So what else is there? What else is there for them to say, hey, we have this game and this is a console seller? Where is their console seller? Halo didn't do it. Microsoft spent over $500 million on that game. That game was supposed to last 10 years. The game died in like 2 weeks. You got professional esports Halo players screaming and yelling, saying that the game is trash, and they're getting fined for it. I don't know if you saw the article.
They're getting fined?
Yeah, they're getting fined for talking down on Halo. But you can't be mad at the guys for saying, hey, this game isn't it. You should have delayed it another couple of years.
Another couple of years. You should have waited for the next Xbox.
Another $100 million?
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Warlock Dog, channel member. He said that's why. Only thing Microsoft is going to do is keep rebooting all franchises by Bethesda and Activision and Blizzard because they won't have to invest new money now to make new games.
Yep.
Oh, boy. We'll see what that's. So the next person I'm going to say is Guap, because I'm going to leave the nuclear option last because I know Persona's going to blow up on this one. So Guap. What you think about this?
Hey man,
the day and date conversation.
This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and I can't even bullshit you on that. Like this whole fucking fake narrative. Excuse my language, but maybe I might secretly be the nuclear option on this motherfucking topic because the fact that people are spending goddamn luxurious amounts of cash in the most fucking prevalent entertainment industry in the world and telling me to have lowered expectations when I'm spending money motherfuckers don't got on games motherfuckers can't afford, and then I'm supposed to dial back my expectations? No, I'm mashing the gas when I buy a next gen console. I want everything, motherfucker. And the moment you tell me, oh, you need to compromise your expectations and get into the Game Pass situation,
you need to think of little Timmy, bro. You ain't worried about little Timmy?
Little Timmy, I would buy Little Timmy 4 fucking Xbox Series X's if it had some goddamn games. So nobody got to worry about Little Timmy. When we talk about the future of gaming and the forefront of technology and what it means to actually put out a next-gen game, have you played Horizon Forbidden West? If that shit don't cost $70, what the fuck does? Every motherfucker crying about goddamn $70 games and big-budget games is out here rocking Gucci, Nike, and Prada. I don't want to hear these motherfuckers say shit because they're wasting money on goddamn bullshit out here telling us what to expect from money we've already invested. You know what I mean? In regards to Hiroki Totoki and what he said, we already knew this. And this is the problem, is because people in our community, quote unquote, have been lying to our faces, telling us they do not want more, they want less, and they don't want less because they're not willing to spend the money. Halo Infinite is still a $65 game. If you go to the store and you're not in Game Pass and you want Halo Infinite, the campaign, you're spending $65. You're telling me the difference between that and Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart isn't worth fucking $8? I cannot tell you how much that upsets me. And being that, I'm on a kumbaya path in life, I'm a zen-ass motherfucker. So I'm out here really to understand why people have gripes, their bullshit, and they're willing to compromise their dollar. So a dollar in the PlayStation ecosystem goes far as fuck. It doesn't go very far in the Xbox ecosystem, because when we look at the releases that platform has used and has given us based on their strategy, it just ain't adding up. The typical Game Pass supporter has spent $90 on gaming this year, right?
Yep.
My $90 I spent on gaming this year, just 90. Let's say 90. Okay, 90. $60 gets you the PS5 version of Horizon Forbidden West. The rest of that money can go to Sifu. There is not a single game that's launched in Game Pass this year that can fuck with either of those games, not to mention the deals we get through PlayStation Plus, which I posted today. I paid $27 a year for PlayStation Plus. Just today alone, I downloaded FIFA 2022, which was $70, the Godslayer game, which was another $20, and the Gods of Midgard game, which is another $20. So in 1 month, my $27 investment netted me $110 worth of games. So whenever people have this whole attitude towards saving money in games and not wanting to invest, but they're already invested into Game Pass, right? And they're not getting nothing out of it. Microsoft promised us 1 game per quarter from their first party. We're pushing almost 3 quarters, and we haven't seen a single AAA third-party release. Everybody wants to tell you about Redfall. That game, by their measurement, should be less than 4 months away. We haven't got a single second of gameplay. The last thing we did get was some leaked alpha footage, which looks like PS3. I don't even want to say PS3 because on PS3 I got Killzone 2, Uncharted 2, and Metal Gear Solid 4. All of those games look visually superior to anything that is currently being offered in Xbox first party through Game Pass, except maybe Flight Sim. But I even got issues there. But whatever. I mean, I came here to dance on the grave of the day and date narrative because the president, the CFO of Sony, has confirmed with a stake to the heart, as if he was killing Dracula, that they have no intention of doing day and date. They have no fucking intention of backing up that philosophy. And I felt like that since the day it was announced. When they told me they were going day and date, I was like, oh, that's because them motherfuckers can't sell games anymore. When Halo went from 13 million on Halo 3 to 4 million on Halo 5, and the next day he was like, oh, day and date. I was like, okay, that makes sense. They're pulling out. They have an extra strategy. They're executing that exit strategy, which is totally fine for a corporation. What is not fine is a consumer to compromise their expectations based on a corporation's maneuvers when they themselves, they want games, man. You didn't go out and buy a Series X or a Series S to get no games. You wanted new shit. You wanted Hellblade 2 by now. You wanted all of these other games by now. If I can just take a moment to list off the games, off the top of my head, mind you, right? I'm not looking at a list. I'm going to tell you this off the top as a PlayStation 5 investor, what the PlayStation 5 has given me as far as quality and return on my investment. Day one, Demon's Souls Remake, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Destruction All-Stars, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank: Rift Apart, Oddworld, Soulstorm, Guilty Gear Strive, Final Fantasy VII Integrate, which not only could you download through PlayStation Plus, but then they also gave you the PS5 upgrade for free, right? Games like Godfall, which even if you skipped it at launch and Xbox players are celebrating getting it 2 years later.
Yeah, now they love it. They love it now.
Back in December, we got that game through PlayStation Plus for free. And you had a $10 upgrade, which would unlock all the additional content. They're celebrating getting these games. Bugsnax, they're celebrating getting these games. So I could continue going on with listing games, but it's just wild to me that people who are spending the same amount of money as us, because the Series X is very expensive, it's $500, they have lower expectations, even though the entry level for PS5 to get that performance, that price, that value, those games, they would argue that it's not worth $400. Yet they bought a $500 system, which ain't giving you shit, which is locking you out of your ecosystem for over 90 hours, not reimbursing you with $20, like I said with Gran Turismo 7. I could go on and on. My man Guap like that 20. Horizon Forbidden West is the greatest next gen game I've ever played. I'm almost 200 hours into Horizon Forbidden West. Come to find out, I'm only 40 hours in because half the time I can't even play the game. It's so beautiful, I just have to put the controller down and be like, how the fuck did they do this? And that's what I want from my top. That's what I want from my top tier first party exclusives. Until these motherfuckers got a counter to that point, I really don't understand what we're doing here. Shout out to Hiroki Totoki. He's doubling down on that value proposition, and I'm all for it. Like, holla at me, man. You can have all my money I can afford to spend on games. I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend $190 a year on fucking Tunic and Crossfire X.
But Guap though, but did you get nail polish?
Yo, I got the fuzzy nut Sonic and Knuckles controller, bro. What's happening? The goddamn pubic hairs shake straight off of Sonic and glued right on my Series S controller.
I'm just saying, it seems like a fair trade-off. We didn't get no nail polish, so and we didn't get those ugly ass Wolverine boots. Did you get them Halo boots?
Bro, they got the exclusive. Yo, did you see how much the Wolverine boots cost?
They were like $300. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that shit's as much as a Series S. I don't know which one's a bigger waste of money. Oh shit! Like, you tell me, Porter.
Man,
but that's all I gotta say on that. I don't want to. I could go off for days. Again. Shout out to Hiroki Totoki. That man kept it real. He split it right down the middle, just like Strauss Zelnick did about a year ago when he called Phil Spencer out in public, and that motherfucker was sweating. And he was like, Next question.
All right. So next up, Persona.
It's my opinion.
What's up, man?
Shit, hey, man. Are you gonna have a good faith opinion on this one?
It's a bad faith question. So listen, here's something that I want everybody to understand, right? When it comes to business, right? We have people, and this is why social media is such a crazy place, because you have people on social media who actually think that Hiroki Totoki is lying. Or that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Like, this is the investors. This is the investors' call.
This is what I'm saying, though. P-Rock, like, do you think a company would lie to its investors like that?
Like, that's
one. Two, imagine you, some random schmuck on social media, thinking you know more than someone who is running $1 billion corporation. Absolutely fucking not. And here's the other part of it, right? Is we have the facts, data, and statistics that continuously proves that buying games and the way PlayStation has been releasing their games for over 5 generations now is successful. Even in their worst generation, which is PlayStation 2, excuse me, PlayStation 3, they still came out even. On the console sales and on the software, they still came out on top. So in these 5 generations that PlayStation has been making consoles and creating games and things like that, they have continuously broke records. Now, the facts, data, and statistics prove that. The problem with social media when it comes to the Game Pass army is you have a lot of people who are pushing this narrative of, oh, well, Game Pass is sustainable, Game Pass is the future, Game Pass is great, and blah, 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 off of faith. Because there is no facts, data, and statistics that prove that this is something that, one, could be sustainable for a long period of time, and two, it's something that the industry could adopt as a standard. There are no facts, data, and statistics that prove that. Part of the problem with this community is that you have a lot of people who are using Microsoft's money to dictate how the market should move when it comes to gaming. Absolutely not. I hate to use this saying, but they're an anomaly. Microsoft is an anomaly when it comes to this gaming community because even even when it comes to the business of gaming, Microsoft is the richest. It's a $2.5 trillion company. Of course, the moves that they make,
and how do they lose so much with all that money?
It's crazy. That's because Xbox and gaming is not a focus for Microsoft. Their focus is cloud architecture, cloud computing, and their OS. But when it comes to how the market dictates, you have a lot of people saying that they're trying to have Microsoft dictate the market because of their pockets. Every company is not built like Microsoft. PlayStation's entire company is only about $200 billion, if that. So you're telling me a $200 billion company is supposed to follow what a $2.5 trillion company is doing when it comes to gaming? It's not sustainable. We're not on the same levels, right?
No company is. There's no company.
There is no company. The only
people that could even come close is Apple.
Apple and Amazon. Apple, Google, Amazon.
Nintendo can't.
Those are only companies.
Even EA can't even do that. EA, Ubisoft.
None of these publishers can. None of these publishers can. None of them.
Yeah.
Even Embracer Group only has about 400 billion market cap.
Yeah. Maybe 10.
No one is coming. No one is coming close.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to how this market is moving and how things are happening, no, that's one. Two, this is how fucked up the community is, man. And a lot of these blue check marks, yellow chair brigade, journalists, sensitive as the notebook ass motherfuckers, right? Is you got a lot of people, like I was talking about this on my show earlier this week, where, you had this Gene Park guy, right? Where he was saying that he wished that PlayStation would downgrade.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
Downgrade their projects so that they would release soon. All this stupid shit.
Oh my God, like, Persona!
I didn't even entertain that on my timeline. I'm like, bro, I can't.
I kept scrolling past it.
I couldn't. I'm like, not this.
I need to get in
about it because
I need to get in on this when Persona is done, please.
Yeah, I just want to finish real quick. I'm not gonna be long with it. But it's stuff like that within this community. On top of this whole Game Pass is a future argument that has this community think like turned upside down, and it's crazy. The CEO, the CFO. And I'm glad that PlayStation, their executives are all on the same page because, again, one band, one sound. Shout out to Drumline. One band, one sound. They are all moving to the same beat of the drum because they understand how their business works and they're doing their business. This is what works. This is what is proven to continuously work. Why am I going to change that because you said we should? Why am I going to change that because you don't want to pay $70 for games? Why am I going to change that because you feel that Microsoft is more... Fuck out of here. The facts, data, and statistics do not lie.
Yo, facts. So, Guap, what are you going to do? You don't like Gene Park's statement? He needs some lesser quality games?
I do not have an issue with Gene Park's statement. Since he's an individual, he is free to say whatever the fuck he wants. I do have a problem for when so there's a disconnect here where these fraud-ass motherfuckers say wild-ass cockamamie bullshit, and when real motherfuckers pull up and try to check them on it, they refuse to engage us in if you know me, right, I ain't a pushover. But at the same time, intellectually, I'm always willing to entertain anybody's perspective respectfully, right? My problem with the Gene Parks and the Tony Polancos of the world is they have no problem engaging in the console war. They'll fire all the shots in the world, and they will shit on these peons. A lot of motherfuckers will have a good point that will respond to them, but since they have a larger influence, they'll shut them down. When they come across me, these motherfuckers start shaking in their boots when they do not have to, because I don't get disrespectful. I don't do the death threats. I'm not going to jump in a plane and kick your head off in front of your mother. That is not who I am. So if you're spitting facts and truths and you catch me and you got me dead to rights, I'd be like, wow, I appreciate your input. I learned something today. Salute to you. I'm going to promote what you said and send all the motherfuckers in the world that I can to support your content and your product. These motherfuckers have an issue. Excuse my language. I do apologize, P-Rock. I don't know if you check my Twitter, but it is rated R.
Say it with your chest.
Hey. Now I'm going to get the kids out of bed. So with Gene Park, he had this critique that Sony should compromise the trajectory of the development cycle without compromising the quality of the end product, right? Now, just on a base level, I'm gonna go over his critique was specifically in reference to Naughty Dog. So I just want to cover what Naughty Dog has done in the past 6 years. Mm-hmm. They've released Uncharted 4, Uncharted Thief's Legacy Uncharted Lost Legacy, The Last of Us 2, the most awarded game of all time, and Uncharted Thief's Legacy. So they've in 6 years they put out 4 games. Arguably, one was a collection. They put out plenty of content. Conversely, this same man praised Halo Infinite, even though 343 only released one fucking game in 7 years, and it was a handicap version of Halo, which was Halo Infinite, with no co-op, no forge, yada, 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 all these seasons and microtransactions. Like, Halo Infinite was not a complete game. He doesn't have a problem with them taking 7 years to release Halo Infinite. He does have a problem with Naughty Dog doing what they do and releasing the best games across the industry, even though it takes them 2 to 3 years to do so. So in the time that Halo Infinite was being developed, Naughty Dog released Uncharted 4, The Last of Us 2, Lost Legacy, and the Legacy of Thieves collection. I think there's something else in there that I may be missing. Obviously, they added the grounded mode to Last of Us 2. PS5. Exactly. Obviously, they added the Last of Us 2 60 FPS patch, which also included the grounded mode. So he's asking them, right, to compromise their development cycle to release higher quality games in a shorter lifespan, while ignoring the fact that in 6 years they released 4 complete titles, but not holding the competition to the same standard, even though in 7 years they managed one lackluster title. And I'll be honest, that set me off, right? And so I went at him and these motherfuckers, and they have these half-baked cockamamie arguments about it's always why Sony should change their strategy. They would never say this about Nintendo. It might be 7-8 years between Zelda games. You would never hear them say, "Oh, I would hope that Nintendo takes less time when making their games so we can get more Zelda games in a shorter amount of time," even though in the past 3 weeks we've seen a number of contractors come out and tell us that the working conditions at Nintendo were absolutely appalling and unacceptable, and a single journalist didn't pick that up. You did not see an in-depth report from Jason Schreier, from Gene Park, from any of these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And the same thing applies.
An article that went into a bit of that.
So there is an IGN article that went into that?
Yeah. They posted something recently about that. It was kind of a.
Would you say they covered it with the same veracity than they covered Sony's faults?
I don't know how to answer that.
My man got the lawyer speak.
So that's my point.
Yeah, that's hearsay.
That's my point, P-Rock. Yeah, that's my point. Like, you do not see these motherfuckers.
I'll be honest. I didn't know IGN wrote an article.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they did. I didn't know. I didn't see it.
Me neither.
I didn't see it at all.
We all know that Gene Park said Horizon Forbidden West was a one and done game, while he celebrated Halo Infinite, even though clearly it's been an abject failure. Now, he said he would play the Halo Infinite campaign. It was so good, even though it's 6 to 9 hours long. He said he would be playing it for 10 years. I just got past the cool route. I don't know if anybody beat Horizon Forbidden West. I just completed the cool route in Horizon Forbidden West. I'm over 100 hours in.
Oh, wow.
I have no desire to beat the game. I'm just playing the game. I'll just sit back. I'll fucking post up. I'll admire the game for what it is, because I did buy this. This is a product. I'm not in a rush to beat the game to get a review out. I bought something and I'm just enjoying it. It's like a sandwich that's fucking delicious. You ain't trying to eat it in 2 bites. I'm going to be here the whole afternoon with the fucking birds chirping and the goddamn sun shining, enjoying myself. This motherfucker's talking about he's going to play Halo Infinite for 10 years, but here we are in May, and he hasn't turned the game on since January.
They're trying to fire 343.
Yep.
That's what they said. You know, what was it, that Forbes article? Should 343 be replaced and put Halo in the hands of another developer?
So I think Halo should rotate, because 343 wasn't. No, but hear me out.
I feel you. I know what you're saying.
It should rotate, because it's not an original IP developed by 343, right? So you should always give different people a different shot at making a new take on the series. And clearly they're willing to do so, as we see with the Halo TV series. I do think 343 can make a competent game, like original IP, that would be a 7 or an 8 out of 10. That's a big fucking deal. You know what I'm saying? If they had no expectations, I think they could go with the technology they have and the knowledge that they do and make a game, a new IP that would be a 7 or an 8 out of 10, which is a big deal. Look at the original Uncharted. That game's a 7 or an 8 out of 10. A lot of new IPs are a 7 or an 8 out of 10. The problem here is when it's Halo, it got to be a goddamn 9.5 every time. You can't be like, oh, we made a new Halo game. We don't know how to connect it to the internet, even though the past 8 games connected to the internet with no fucking problem. That's what I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? How the fuck does this game not have co-op when it had co-op day one on the OG Xbox 20 years ago? Yeah. How do you not have that code, but you still got the code for the goddamn pistol? I don't want to go too deep into that. But to the Gene Parks of the world, because I used to have respect for the dude, something changed. And now his reporting is compromised.
Trying to get that merch.
To debate him. Hey, he got that yellow chair shoved very far up his ass.
What was it, J-Dub? Trying to
call people names or to disrespect anybody. Yeah. But the cap needs to stop on this app. And I'll end with that.
Hey, J-Dub, what you said, 3 or 4 consoles in storage?
Yep.
Remember that? Remember when she said that?
Yep.
I got 3 or 4 X consoles locked in storage.
She said
Sony don't give me anything. Microsoft.
Who y'all talking about?
What was her name?
Garage filled with free Xbox.
Felicia Day.
He still has the video clip.
Oh, I know who y'all talking about. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like Sony because they don't give me free stuff or whatever."
I got 3, and she said, "Well, I got 3, 4 consoles in storage."
3 or 4 Xboxes in storage. Yeah,
She said she had the ultimate FN edition of every Xbox console, chilling in her. She said she had a whole garage just for Xbox swag. I was like,
yo,
let me tell you what it is, right? With these yellow chair bandits, that's what I call them. All of these journalists, all of these guys, all they're doing is vying for jobs for Microsoft. They saw Paris get a job at Microsoft. They saw a couple other people. Maybe I think Code or somebody then got some jobs. They're looking for jobs. That's what they're doing. And, think about it. Man, if IGN is only paying you $20 an article, that's a lot of articles you got to write, right?
There's only so many articles you can write in a day.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of can't blame them at this point. They doing what they do. But gamers deserve to call their ass out for that. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna step into this game, you deserve to get critiqued as well, just like your article and everything else. But what happened is these guys, all these journalists, they used to be credible, right? And I want to say last year they were somewhat credible. But something happened this generation where Microsoft threw a lot of money at them, or they just,
they flooded the market with that influencer money, bro.
Yes, when someone gives you free shit, when you get free consoles, free controllers, or free games, and access to party chats with Phil and Aaron and the rest of those guys, right? That does something with these guys. You kind of, a lot of these guys feel compelled to kind of cheer on the person who's funding them, who's giving them stuff. And that's what's happening. But unfortunately, Microsoft is not really giving them much to work with. So it really does shine when you got a game like Halo that's fucking busted and disgusting. These guys gave it a 10 out of 10 game of the generation, right? And then a week later, nobody's playing it. It's dead. And people are wondering, how did these 3 months of seasons turn into 6 months for a season and maybe even longer? So it's exposing not only Microsoft, but it's exposing the credibility of all of these journalists, all of these yellow cyberpunk chair guys. The same guys that sold you on Cyberpunk being the game of the generation before it launched. And when it launched, it was a dud, and then they went into hiding. These same guys are doing that same shit with Halo, and they're going to do it again with Starfield, and they're going to do it again with all this other stuff.
I'm telling y'all right now, if Starfield don't hit, that internet gonna explode, bro.
Project Cloud. I feel. Listen,
I don't believe it. Man.
I feel bad for Project. I feel bad for Project Cloud.
Listen, this is what's gonna happen. Starfield is not going to hit. But guess what's going to happen? They're going to do what they did to Halo. They're going to make it.
I refuse to believe it, man.
At 87, at 89, they're going to give it a high score, right? Because they have to save face. They have to save face. They done already. We haven't even seen what this game look like. We haven't seen nothing of this game. No gameplay, nothing. All we're getting is sound engineers talking about the game. We got concept art. But these guys have already declared
developers and shit.
Yeah. Listen.
Guys, may I interject for one moment, please.
Go ahead.
Wait, before you interject, let me get this one super chat. We got Grizzly Bear King. He said, "Hey, Embracer's market cap is 7.5 billion, not 400 billion." So I guess maybe all right. Okay, thank you for the information, Grizzly. Appreciate it.
The only reason
and hit the like button. All right, go ahead.
Yes, please do. Like it, share it out, do all of that. The only reason I have an issue with the Starfield situation is that's $100 million game. You can't fuck that. Like, Skyrim was very successful. Like, they've had over 10 years to work on it, and they have an unlimited budget. Like, if you fuck that up, man.
But that was 15 years ago. Wow, that was 15 years ago.
Listen, but they still have the money, right? Listen. Bro.
People only remember your last hit, right? They only remember your last game. They don't care about something that happened. Skyrim launched 15 years ago. You can't get credit in 2022 for something you did 15 years ago, right? And that's what they're trying to do. People are trying to attribute Skyrim to this upcoming Starfield. The problem is in between those Skyrim years, right? We got Fallout 76, which is a 43 Metacritic game, right? And people want to say, oh, it's the 18 BT. It doesn't matter. This guy who's the head, Todd Howard, his name was on that game. He was the head.
He definitely debuted the gameplay, and he was smiling.
So I don't want to hear the bullshit, right? That's their last game, right? And here's the thing. The reason why Bethesda Activision was so cheap was because they didn't have a good track record, and they were known for being Bethesda. Their game's buggy and crappy, and it takes them years to get it in a working state. Look at Fallout 76. Launch, crappy. It took them about 2 or 3 years, but you know what? That's Microsoft's, that's their stilo. They launch games that are shitty, and they hope over the years they get good. Look at Sea of Thieves, the exact same way, right?
But do you understand where I'm coming from, J-Dub?
No, I get what you're coming from. That they spent a lot of money, but listen, Halo cost over $500 million, and look at that game, right?
That's way different.
So money to Microsoft, money does not equate to quality. It does not.
The only reason I would argue that Halo is different is because hypothetically it's a 10-year game, right? Starfield's not. They have yet to say Starfield is a 10-year game, which makes me think it's a smaller title in line with Skyrim, just with a larger budget. But again, I'm not here to damage control or to make excuses. So hey, you're preaching to the choir. But there's no way this fucking game comes in at less than an 85 on Metacritic. No, just surely based on the money I know they spent. No fucking way.
So
they won't allow it.
If I could say this regarding Starfield, Fallout 76 disaster, no doubt about it. But I would say this is an excuse. It was the first online title for Bethesda Game Studios to make, and they just
flopped. It wasn't. Because they have Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, listen, Fallout 76 was nothing but Fallout. Was nothing but Fallout 4 with multiplayer element. That's it. It was they didn't redo anything. They didn't restart from scratch anything. They already had Fallout 4, which to me was a pretty decent game. I mean, I beat it. I liked it. It was a pretty decent single player game. But that Fallout 76 wasn't anything groundbreaking. It was literally Fallout 4 with multiplayer elements. That's all it was. And they didn't even do that right. It kind of reminds me of State of Decay, right? I was a huge State of Decay 1 fan. And I always said I hope they did multiplayer because that would be awesome. They put multiplayer in State of Decay 2, and that shit was an epic failure. They really dropped the ball with some of the stuff that they really could have turned that game into the game that gamers were really asking for. But listen, history is on my side. I don't trust Microsoft to make any good game, any great game. They don't have the capacity because they don't have great management. If they don't have great management, they don't know what. I'll go on record for saying Microsoft don't know what a good game is. They don't know what a great game is. They don't. If they knew what a great game was, right, they wouldn't have released Bleeding Edge. They wouldn't have released a ton of the other duds that they have. Phil Spencer on record saying that, you know, he wanted Crackdown 3 to sit right between Halo and Gears. These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to quality. They're hoping, right, by buying Blizzard Activision, by buying, some of the other guys that they can bring the talent to be able to do that. But if you don't have an executive or someone who knows what a good game is, that can give a sense of direction of what they're looking for, I hate to say it, but Game Pass is just going to show them the way. And the way it is you just crank out whatever you want at your leisure and put it in Game Pass, and let's hope and pray that it's something.
Any words, Project? Because I know you're big on Starfield. I know you're really looking forward to
for sure.
To Starfield.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of too, because I do like the Elder Scrolls and Fallout. You know,
we all are, man. Yeah. Skyrim was serious. Let's be honest.
I like the Elder Scrolls franchise. Period. I really enjoy that franchise and the Fallout franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible with my sensibilities that Starfield might be more than what I'm looking for, but I'm at least incredibly excited about the setting, being epic sci-fi, like has some really great concept art. And I know, hey, they haven't shown gameplay, but honestly, that was their whole intention.
He said really good concept art.
Yeah, you have a concept art, man. Come on,
but I am for concept art, man. So. Because it gives me an idea of what the game is going to be like. I mean, that's why you design concept art.
Pretty much, right?
So, again, it's not as good as gameplay, but it at least gives me a sense of direction for, how the game may actually feel in 2D form.
You just got to wait till June, right? Write it out to June.
So they've been planning, I believe, from day one that the gameplay would be revealed within the last 6 months or less before the game comes out. So, they did that with Fallout 4 and maybe 76 as well. They revealed the gameplay like just before the game launched. That was just a new strategy Bethesda took. So
they did that with Halo. We didn't remember they did that with Halo. Halo was supposed to launch that November. Yeah. They didn't show us the game until June, and we got Craig, and then they ended up delaying it for a year.
Craig.
Do not listen. You cannot trust Microsoft with any game of hiding it and showing you at the last minute, because you're gonna listen. This happened. Listen, I'm not making this stuff up, guys. I'm just going by history. History is on my side, right? And it's unfortunate. I don't want it to be that way, but until Microsoft can be more consistent with their releases and consistent with the quality, nothing that they say is all going to fall on deaf ears with me. And I'm just being honest. I've set myself up for enough.
We're tired of the talking. We're tired of the talk. Now it's just
show improve.
Yeah. Shout out to Grizzly Bear King. He said Halo did not cost $500 million. 343 debunked it.
Oh, stop it, man.
To be honest. Even if it did, I wouldn't admit it either.
Yeah, exactly.
Showan. Shout out to my boy Showan. He said Phil never said that. It was Shannon Loftus.
Okay, well, that's still an Xbox executive.
Yeah, he hired her.
It don't matter. Come on.
I'm going to say this. Even though these aren't my kind of games, they did an outstanding job with Microsoft Flight Simulator for what it is for that audience. They kicked it out of the park with that. Knocked it out of the park, I should say. And then what else? It came out with something other, or Age of Empires 4. That really hit with this community.
And guess what? None of those games launched on Xbox. They were PC games. They were developed for PC, and they're eventually getting ports or got port. But come on, let's face it.
You got to give them credit though, for when they get it right. I mean, it doesn't matter what platform it was originally designed for. A good game is a good game. So
let me say this. Why can't PlayStation get that same what you just said? Why can't PlayStation get that same empathy?
Exactly.
We still got gamers to this day saying that Returnal flopped because the first week only sold 700,000 copies. You still, you like the critique of PlayStation games are so high, but the bar for Xbox games is so low, and it's adamant, and it's damn near sickening, right? Literally, it's literally crazy. PlayStation games have to sell 20 million copies for Xbox and Xbox guys to be like, okay, well, that's a W. Other than that, then,
not even then, because
first of all, forget the bots, because they're messed up to begin with. So they're not even they're in the conversation, but they're really not part of the conversation. They're excluded. They're the heretics. Okay? So it doesn't matter what a game sells. Quality is quality, right? What it sells is what it sells. If a crappy game sells really well, it deserves some round of applause. If a game is great but doesn't sell as well as it could have, it deserves at least the round of applause for the quality. If a game, is super high quality game of the year and it's a super seller, you get all the applause. So
okay, let me ask you this one question, and I'll shut up. Right?
Go ahead.
What does Microsoft have in all of those 38 studios they have, and all those 100 IPs that they have cooking behind behind the scene, that could compete with a Wolverine, with a Spider-Man 2, with a KOTOR, with a new God of War or anything like that from Sony, or new The Last of Us, or any of Sony's franchise? What do they have behind the scene that could compete from that level?
Well, it's pretty interesting, because on Gaming Bolt, there was actually an article that came out today that says Xbox Bethesda working on multiple Disney licensed projects. And then we already know about Indiana Jones, which you can basically say that's going to compete directly with Uncharted. Maybe a Hulk game is in there somewhere. I
don't want to be rude, but
we're not talking about guesses. We're not talking about just what. Yeah, I don't. Come on. We
don't want to be rude, but Xbox doesn't have a single confirmed Disney exclusive. PlayStation has released multiple Disney.
Those are hopes and dreams. Those are far.
Well, they do it. Indiana Jones is a real game. Now, whether or not it's Xbox exclusive,
listen.
We'll see.
Let me ask you this.
What's the last Indiana? We have
year did the last Indiana Jones like nobody know, like, dude, that was huge. I think it was 8-bit when I was growing up.
8-bit or 16-bit. Yeah. That was before I went through puberty.
Is that like, I would say Tomb Raider, like that game will be competing with Tomb Raider, like no, nobody outside of us old heads know what Indiana Jones is. You see what I'm saying?
I totally disagree.
They haven't made a movie in like 15 years.
Okay. That is facts.
That's like saying that. That's like saying they're making a new Dolomite video game. What the hell? I'm like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
If Sony comes out with a Dolomite first party
tomorrow, I will buy it day one just because of that. Just because of that, he said that's like saying they made a new Dolomite game. Oh shit!
All right. So, okay, come on. So
he said a new Dolomite. I'm sorry, but that shit is funny.
I think you're not giving Indy his proper due here for how popular he actually is. But let's just for a second that the audience is this character.
When has Indiana Jones been popular? In the last 20, 30 years? I'm literally being honest. What year did that movie?
Let me look it up. What was the last Indiana Jones game?
Game?
I mean, I'm a movie. The last Indiana Jones game.
It was 15. The Crystal Skull came out in 2008, I think.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And
when did that movie come out?
So Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008.
Jesus.
Yes. Box office of the franchise.
When did the Xbox 360 come out, Puerto Rock?
In 2005.
Oh shit! So 3 years after Xbox 3.
Okay.
Oh man, come on, man.
So
I mean, supposedly they're making Indiana Jones 5, so that's probably why. That's supposed to come out in 2023.
You think that's going to go head to head?
I think that's probably what they're doing.
Hey, Harrison Ford, like 90 years
Yo,
old.
that's
They
the
want to see his
oldest.
old ass on the
Like,
screen talking about
my man's on a walker, bro. You know, he ain't gonna be able to crack that whip.
Run and grab a crystal skull.
My man think he gonna crack a whip, bro. He might crack your back if you keep fucking around.
Hey, Puerto Rock, they ain't gonna have no jump button in the game.
Oh shit.
Man gonna rub some Bengay on his elbows.
Hey, we gonna
rub some Bengay on his elbows before you go do some shit.
Hey, y'all remember they were talking about Kratos don't have a jump button? Indiana Jones ain't gonna have no jump button.
That motherfucker ain't gonna crack no goddamn whip. He has arthritis. That motherfucker, he got rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm not really getting what's the. So you guys have this arbitrary criticism that Indiana Jones is kind of an old school character. Like, so what? Who cares?
No, Project Cloud. What we're saying is that if you have to reach 15 years back to get an IP, it comes off kind of desperate, especially when Sony is already the leader in that genre with the Uncharted, and we already seen Tomb Raider try and fail to match the success. And me personally, knowing who the developers are, I don't believe Machine Games is gonna pivot from making Doom clones, which is what the Wolfenstein games were, the recent ones, not the original one. I'm just saying based on the engine, right? To like making a whole verifiable Indiana Jones game. Like, by this time we should know, is this a third-person game? Is it a first-person game? What type of action? What type of progression? What is the premise? What is the introduction? This game was announced so long ago, and we still don't have a shred of information.
It was announced at like the month they closed the deal, basically. So they announced it specifically to get recruitment.
I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest. I bet this game don't get a higher Metacritic score than Pitfall from Atari 2600.
Oh shit, this guy.
Man, so obviously you guys apparently don't think as highly about the Wolfenstein games that they've put out, because I actually think
they're okay.
I think they're good.
Okay.
I think the Wolfenstein game is good. I think it's good. I think Wolfenstein's a good game. Okay. I like them.
They're okay. Now, what you want to say? The last Wolfenstein game that they came out was extremely low Metacritic. The one with the two girls.
That's because it was an expansion. We'll forgive them.
See, you're willing to give that same, but then
we will not forgive them. We will not forgive them. No, we will not forgive them.
It's DLC.
Y'all want to call it? You gotta listen.
Persona, what's that little cue the sound? There you go.
It looks like DLC.
I'm just trying to say, have the same energy, brother. That's all.
Oh shit.
So hey, look. Obviously, there were some issues even with like microtransactions in the Wolfenstein Youngblood. I haven't played that yet, but yeah, I realize there's some issues. But hey, what I can say is, if you're not making a full game, I believe you have automatically a pass of some kind. I'm not saying a total pass, but a pass that it's not a full game. I don't believe, for example, an expansion or a $40 game should be compared in the same way a $60 game is. It's going to be very tough for a game like this less than full AAA game. It's AAA in quality, but you know what I mean. It's just not in length. It just shouldn't be compared in the same way that you do for a traditional release. So I thought they did an amazing job with Wolfenstein 2, and then even the Old Blood expansion that they did for Wolfenstein 1 was amazing too. So I mean, look, if you thought they were okay, then that's your take on it. But I think there's a lot of people that are really blown away by those games, especially the spelling in those.
Okay, so listen,
and especially for an FPS.
Listen. Let's say I agree with you on that, right? The Wolfenstein games are great, right? Those were first-person shooters, right? How is that going to translate to a third-person Indiana Jones jump Tomb Raider / Uncharted type game? You see what I'm saying?
You have the Guerrilla Games hope. Killzone to Horizon. We cross our fingers. They get the dev talent. Stay optimistic about this.
I got you, brother. I got you.
He's hoping for that half-court shot to go through. That's the game plan.
Bro, get that Microsoft money to come in, man. It's going to come through.
Hey, I'll say this, man. I'll say this, right? The only way that I'll really have faith that they'll be able to pull it off, and it has nothing to do with money, because we've seen, you look at the developers of Cuphead, right? They only got maybe $500,000 to make fucking Cuphead, and it's a great fucking game. And only a handful of people actually made that game. So you don't need $800 million to make a great game. But what you do need, you need good management, someone who knows how to manage the talent that they have. Microsoft has failed to manage their core 5 studios that they had, let alone now they own 38, 39, 50, or whatever you guys be claiming that they have now, right? So if you don't know how to manage
Pete
5...
Pete Hines is going to take us through, man, on this Indiana Jones game.
I hope so, brother. I hope so.
Let me talk to the final topic, right? And I want Glob to lead this off, right? So it has come to, with some good detective work from Guapzilla and Digital Foundry, it has come to the situation where apparently developers hate the Xbox Series S. They are tired of dealing with that trash ass console. Guap, can you provide the details to this conundrum that we are facing this gen? All thanks due to Xbox Series S inferior architecture. What is going on?
So my problem with the Series S is gamers called this out from day one. We never accepted this shit. We told Microsoft, hey, if you want to make 2 SKUs, just take the disc out of one of them. They said there is no way you can save $100 on a system by simply removing the Blu-ray player. And then Sony did just that. Xbox motherfuckers had graphs and data statistics telling us the value of a 4K Blu-ray player, and they said at best it was a $30 saving. Here we are, 2022, goddamn into the summertime. Clearly the PlayStation 5 was able to pass the savings on to the consumer. We got a $400 PS5, which is currently outperforming a $500 Xbox Series X at every turn and every chance it gets. But that is not the issue. The issue is that if you have a Series X, if you have a PS5, the fucking elephant in the room is the Series S. Microsoft themselves released a patch for Minecraft, which was supposed to have ray tracing support as the flagship representation of what is true next gen. Before we even heard of the PS5 being announced, Microsoft announced the Series X at the Game Awards in 2019. They demoed it with the Hellblade 2 announcement. Shortly thereafter, in March of 2020, they started to show what the Xbox Series X could do. They sent out, quote-unquote, real Series X consoles, and people like Austin Evans did live gameplay demonstrations in the premiere game that he demoed in the spring of 2020 was Minecraft with ray tracing, telling consumers, now this guy has over 1 million viewers, that he was playing Minecraft with ray tracing natively on the Series X. My problem is, here we are 2 years later, and there's still no Minecraft ray tracing on the Series X. Microsoft themselves released a patch for Minecraft, which enabled ray tracing on the Series X. The Series S version could not do it, so they removed the patch, proving that the Series S as in Sam, is holding back next gen. Now, PlayStation players, this is no concern to us, because since day one, when the PlayStation 5 came into my household and I had my Miles Morales, I had ray tracing in first party. Day one, 30 frames, 4K, all the good stuff. Subsequently, Sony has put out the VRR update, which has given me 100 frames in at least 1440p resolution with ray tracing enabled. We have still yet to get a single game from fucking Xbox first party that gives you any of the next gen features that they touted enabled on both the X and the Series S. So to me, I feel like gamers got ripped off. Series X gamers should be able to play Minecraft with ray tracing. Microsoft has clearly illustrated a reluctance to give Series X players benefits that are not present on the Series S, proving, in fact, that this piece of trash system, and yes, I'm calling the Xbox Series S a piece of trash, one of the worst ideas in console gaming history. You're going to launch a next-gen console that's literally getting outperformed by the last-gen Xbox One X, but in order to hide that, you're going to stop selling the Xbox One X, because if people knew the truth and they was like, I can get a better deal with the Xbox One X, I'm still going to get 4K 60, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. They would never buy the Series S. And so Microsoft doubled down on their bullshittery, didn't give you ray tracing, didn't give you the Xbox One X, didn't give you 1440p 120 FPS. In fact, I do not know what they gave you other than a toy to stick in your daycare for your kids to play Roblox, and by that, I am fucking disgusted.
Shout out to Guru Legends. He said the game is called Phantom Abyss. It is an Indiana Jones game, so the game exists. Is that a third-party game or something? Or is that like the project code?
Yo, nobody's disputing the existence of the goddamn... what the fuck is the franchise?
Indiana Jones.
No one's disputing the existence of Indiana Jones. We just not co-signing games with zero gameplay 2 years after announcement. Like,
True.
Contraband, you're on fucking watch. Redfall, you're on fucking watch. Indiana Jones, you're on the fucking clock. Like, let's stop this shit. Every single game besides God of War Ragnarok that was announced alongside the PlayStation 5, gamers have played, completed, platinum, got the scores, the reviews. Our hands are all up in those motherfuckers. We're still rating games off. Oh, Ratchet and Clank, blah, 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 blah. Ratchet and Clank set a bar for next gen that I would argue the Xbox Series S will never touch in the entirety of its lifespan, and that game came out in the first 7 months of the PS5's existence. So that means 7 years from now, when you got your little Xbox Series S and you're looking for an equivalent to Ratchet and Clank, you'll never fucking find it, and that's the problem.
My man Tommy Bull, shout out. He said, "Sup, my brothers? Imagine 540p in 2026 on the Series S." Now, hey, Guap, so what caused the Series S? Did Digital Foundry say something?
Digital Foundry has a weekly podcast, and today one of the clips from that weekly podcast was the biggest Xbox supporter, Alex Battaglia. I'm not going to bullish the man's name, right? He confirmed multiple developers have reached out to him and told him that the Series S is holding back next gen, and we, as gamers, we already knew, because Minecraft isn't getting ray tracing simply because of the Series S. Call of Duty has a hacked version. All of these next gen games don't have ray tracing on the Series S. The moment when they sold us the Series S as a 1440p 120 FPS console that could do, this is what they said, it could do 1080p, 60 FPS with ray tracing at lower settings. That is totally fine. What we're finding out is these motherfuckers got to go down to 540p. All these weird numbers we never knew existed to hit these next-gen metrics on a console they told us would easily perform up to snuff. In the price, right? I always bring it back to the price.
Everything's
the
scaled.
price says... Yeah, price says it's $300. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money, right? So if I'm going to spend $300, I need next-gen features, because if I don't want next-gen features, I could easily buy an Xbox One S, because 99% of the games on the Series S work on the Xbox One S. It's just a lower resolution in 30 FPS. Come to find out, the Series S isn't even doing 60 FPS. It's not even doing 1080p. The moment you want 60 FPS, you gotta go down to 720p or lower, and that's the fucking issue, because the Xbox One S could already do that.
Hell, the goddamn Switch does 540p.
Hey man, shout out to the Switch. It is also $300, but it got a hell of an exclusive library, right? Yeah, we can go on for days. Facts. We will never see a game on the level of Breath of the Wild on the goddamn Xbox Series S. Never in our lifetime.
So I'm going to go to Project Cloud, and then I'm going to end the show with Persona, because you know he about to be lit with this topic. But Project Cloud, do you have an Xbox? Are you going to play Starfield on PC, or are you going to do it on consoles?
No, definitely Series X.
Okay, so do you have a Series X right now, or you plan to get one?
Oh, I do. Yes. Okay, I do have one.
So are you? All right. So what made you? All right. Have you always been an Xbox gamer?
No.
So this is your first Xbox?
The first console I ever got was the PS4. But prior to that, I was a PC gamer.
Oh, okay. So you saw the light in the land of consoles. Now I'm playing.
Yes.
I guess you wanted to take the easy route. You're like, you know what? I'm done with all this tinkering.
Exactly.
I just want to work. I'm too old for doing all this stuff. You don't want to go to some Russian website to pull down patches to make a game work. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So your first console was PS4. Now you have an Xbox Series X and your PS4?
Series X and PS5.
Ooh, okay. So now when you got the Series X, what made you choose the Series X over the Series S? If it was even a choice.
Definitely the power. Definitely the power.
Okay, so you want the performance, you want the best looking games. Are you concerned with Digital Foundry saying that, a lot of developers are just not happy with the Series S? That they have to do whatever the hell they got to do for this? What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, the generation, unfortunately, the Series S is going to hold the generation back for multi-platform games. It's just a fact. I mean, look, I'm not a developer. I'm not an engineer. So maybe there's an engineer that has an alternative perspective on this. But it just makes sense that when you have a less powerful machine and it's at least significantly less powerful in some way, that, yeah, that has to be what you actually design your games around, because otherwise, like, you have a Series X and a PS5, and Microsoft's not going to go for that. So I would like it if Microsoft would just be like, hey, you guys can just develop Series X only, and we're just going to have Series S streamed to the cloud. That'd be great.
that would piss off so many people.
That's what Project Cloud stands for, yo.
Oh, snap.
That's the destiny of that Series S. But that Series X, we want that smooth downloads, local downloads that we can actually install online and offline games on.
Okay. All right. So my boy Persona. My brother.
Yeah.
So we're gonna finish off with you, but I'm gonna get you started, right? I'm gonna turn the wheel. I'm gonna light this fire. You remember how 2020 was, right? You remember how they're telling us that PlayStation was 9.2 T-flops.
Yep.
RDNA 1.5.
Yes, sir.
Software ray tracing.
Yes, sir.
Yet the Xbox Series S was just like the Series X, only 1440p 60. It's a great 1440p option.
But this is great for gamers.
Yeah, it has all the bells and whistles. Ray tracing, 120 FPS performance. All you gotta do is just downscale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the PS5 is what they call it, PS4 Pro?
Yep, PS4 Pro 2.0 or something like that. Crazy.
I just wanted to hop in real quick. Remember the motherfucker that was making the Dolphin game?
Oh shit!
He said that game couldn't run on a PlayStation. Out of your fucking mind.
Yo, he said he easily got it. Yo, oh my god, I forgot. Yo, I got the video, man.
It was running on the Series S with no problem.
My god, he said. He got the game easily.
My bad. I just wanted to throw that out there.
My man said he easily got the game running at 4K 120, but he's struggling at 1080p on PS5. I was
remember.
I'm like, what game is this dude
Y'all remember
making?
when Resident Evil, they were saying that PlayStation was struggling to get 60 frames
at 1080p.
Resident Evil Village, they were saying Resident Evil Village was struggling to get to 60 frames on PlayStation, and then the dude claimed he lied, and the only reason he lied because there was too much negative Xbox news. So
they fired him.
He was catching too many W's.
He was a moderator. He was a moderator on Reset. He was a moderator. He was a moderator at Reset Era. They fired him.
Yep, good.
Said, nah, you can't be doing that shit, bro. Like, what is you thinking? My man said that he felt bad because there was too much negativity on Xbox.
Crazy.
So he
imagine that.
Yo,
imagine somebody being that unhinged, bruh.
Yo,
disgusting.
That shit is wild.
Sorry. So here's my thing about the Series S, right? And I'll keep it short.
Oh, one more thing. Wait, one more reminder. Okay. Tommy Bull, he said Don't forget, Post Up said Series S will beat PS5. He did say that. My brother, Post Up said that that Series S will have better frame rates than PS5 because PS5 can't juggle between the CPU and the GPU at the same time.
All this misinformation, right? And listen, Mark Sony told these people. Mark Sony told these people back in May of 2020, it's dangerous to rely on teraflops alone because it's malleable. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. It's malleable. You understand? So listen, man. When it comes to this whole Series S argument, this is shit that I've been saying this since the beginning. And this is just a little conspiracy theory, man. Y'all put your tinfoil hats on. I personally think the Series S is a fuck you to the industry from Microsoft for having them have to do that. Hey, bro, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense to put a console like this out that would hinder true next-gen development on a third-party level. That you can't tell me that's not a fuck you to developers and to the industry, because it's Microsoft making sure that they level the playing field. Yeah. Deliberately. They're deliberately leveling the playing field, saying, all right, we can't beat them in sales, we can't beat them in mindshare, we can't beat them in console sold, we can't beat them in making sure that it's forced parity. It's deliberately forced parity. Because you cannot tell me that PlayStation was on the drawing board for their console and saying, you know what, we want to do an all-digital console as well, but we need a way to make sure that the consoles are on par. And then Microsoft was on the drawing board and say, hey, we want to make one that's weaker, so weak that it's even going to have bottlenecks and memory bottlenecks and all this other crazy shit that's going to actually make it harder for developers to create next-gen experiences. Tell me that's what they was in a board meeting saying that shit and thinking that was a good idea? No. It was forced parity. It's forcing people, like, regardless of how great PlayStation is, at a third-party level, it'll never shine as truly great. It will never shine as bright as it can because of the Series S. It'll never shine. And the Series S is, all these people said the tools and this and teraflops and this. And, you had journalists talking about the CPU clock frequencies on the fucking Series S is higher than PlayStation 5. So that means it's better. And all this stupid shit, bro. And this is why I say a lot of these journalists in this community, they get no respect from me. I can count on maybe one, maybe two hands how many journalists in this community I actually truly respect. Yeah. Right? These journalists in this community, especially these ones that was touting all that power bullshit, narrative bullshit on the Series S. And what's funny is a lot of developers, when the S and X were being talked about back in 2020, they even voiced their concerns and mentioned the memory bottlenecks and other constraints that they think they'll run into when it comes to development for these consoles. Now look. And again, for PlayStation 5 owners, you will never see a true next-gen experience from a third-party developer unless it's third-party timed exclusive or it's straight up exclusive to PlayStation. The true next-gen experience is PlayStation, from the controller all the way to the console. Yeah. Even how the console handles this memory and the caching and all that other shit.
Even the UI.
The UI, all of it.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, all of it. And the only time you'll ever see that true next-gen experience is if it's exclusive or timed exclusive from a third-party perspective. Sad. It's sad, really.
It's all that conversation, right? And here's the crazy part. This is why, like, I can't really trust Xbox fans on quality gaming conversation, nothing, right? Because I don't think they have a standard of quality in anything, right? Let's say
you can't trust somebody that wouldn't buy. I would never trust somebody that wouldn't buy a game.
True.
I mean, would you trust the opinion of somebody that wouldn't even go in their own pocket and buy the product?
Yeah, for the console that they bought, for the very console they bought. Like, you bought the console. What else are you gonna do with it?
This game is great. Don't buy it though. Play the Game Pass. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if they really truly believe in this power shit, how come they're not pissed off or be like, yo, this shit did not turn out what we expected, right? It's just funny how quick it went from, hey, I got the best performance. Oh, I gotta play my multi-plus on the best console. Now I went from that to, oh no, I just do it for great value. What? What happened to all this power shit?
What they're probably going to say is, well, yeah, we have the power. It's the Series X. Of course it's going to be maxed out, as if it will.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Even the Series X is not all that either. It's a great console, but not compared to what they hyped in 2020 is not what Xbox delivered in any measure.
You have not seen
it.
From the time that they shown this console off to now, you have not seen one next gen thing come from a Series X.
No. If there was any console that was close to what they hyped, it was the PS5. PS5 is the closest console to what they hyped about the Series X in terms of performance, ray tracing, and all that shit. PS5 is much closer to that viewpoint than whatever. Especially after this whole VRR, and Sony said, hey, if you have VRR and HD up my 2.1 120, we'll just unlock these games. And the games are just running freely, unlocked, and you see Spider-Man running on average 58 frames at full native 4K with ray tracing. That shit is crazy. Ray tracing performance mode in the hundreds. That shit is bananas.
Yo, P-Rock, that would cost you almost $4,000 to obtain on PC. People don't get it. If you're going to do 4K ray tracing at 100 frames a second,
you're going to put some money.
That's going to cost you fucking thousands of dollars. And we're getting it on a $400 console. And you don't even got a fucking exclusive superhero game to exhibit it with. So even if you could do it, you still don't got a game to fucking execute.
Hey, you know what the Series S is? So think of the Series S as someone buying a brand new Toyota Camry and putting a fender and rims and shit on a Toyota Camry, riding through the hood thinking they the shit. A Toyota Camry, you got a fender and all this other shit.
But the rims are clean.
A spoiler. I mean, a spoiler and the rims and all this other shit.
And that loud ass exhaust. They put the you know what I'm talking about, the oversized exhaust to make it sound real loud. Them annoying ass exhaust system. Oh shit. Yep. All right. Hey, let me get the last super chat. My man JFK TV said, ironically, the tools Xbox has waited patiently for can't fix the monkey wrench that is the Series S. That is facts, JFK TV. That is facts. I don't know, man. This is just crazy, bro. But anyway, man, great conversations. We're just going to go through the thing. We're going to go through the panel. Hey, yo, Persona, let people know where we can find you at, which is clearly the greatest PlayStation podcast that's out there.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my bro, Barry, man. What's up, PlayStation podcast? Shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Make sure to hit the like button. Shout out to you, P-Rock. Shout out to the panel. I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, man. It was definitely dope conversations. A lot of good laughs, right? And for me, man, I'm Persona Gaming.
It's my opinion.
It's my opinion. Hey, man, listen.
It's my opinion.
You gotta keep it real, man. But listen, man, I appreciate all y'all, man. I'm gaming with Persona. You can follow me on Twitter at Persona Speaks. And my YouTube channel is Gaming with Persona, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, so Gaming Persona, again, him and Jay Barry has the What's Up PlayStation podcast every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Mondays, you do your... What is
Persona Speaks.
Persona Speaks. He preaches the truth every Monday. You know, so check him out. Definitely get to listen. If you rock PlayStation, you gotta listen to these dudes. If there's anybody you gotta listen to, it's them. Listen to them, and you're good. All right. All right. My man Guap. My man creating the most antagonizing spaces.
Oh, I pride myself on asking the tough questions because I believe it brings out the best in people. So if you're not too busy, come check me out on Twitter, Guapzilla, Guapzilla, all caps, baby, because we about big things over here. Not little things, but small, but not small things, but large things. Okay, so definitely holler at me. I'm always open to talking to the people. So as long as you ain't on some bullshit, definitely DM me, hit me up, at me. On Twitter, we do the Pegasus Corner, which is in honor of Optimus Code. He started the Pegasus Nation, and we just want to associate ourselves with his energy because he was definitely empowering the gaming community, whether you are on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, regardless of what motherfuckers believe. he was all about gaming on all platforms, and I respect that. So I'm trying to carry on the tradition. Puerto Rock also had a hand in starting that. I'm just keeping it moving. We have had some fucking great conversations tonight, and we're going to keep that same energy on the Pegasus Corner. Hey, shout out to P-Rock. He remembers Pegasus Court.
Yeah.
He's the motherfucker that when he said it, right? So I was like, I always tell people this story. When I started Pegasus Court, it wasn't like you're going to court because you got a traffic ticket, because nobody wants to go to court.
No.
When I was in high school, right, all of us used to gather at lunch at the arcade at the mall, the food court.
Yeah.
So when I thought of Pegasus Court, that's what I was thinking. It's like a food court.
I was
where
like,
you play Street Fighter, and then when P-Rock was like, this motherfucker thinks he's holding court.
He was like, he judge, jury, and executioner. I'm like, my man, judge, jury, my man, Judge Dredd up in this motherfucker.
I was like, hell no. As a minority, we ain't looking forward to go to court, which is why I shifted and I changed the name to Pegasus Corner. Yeah. Even though Pegasus Court, that was a lit name, but I was like, I don't want motherfuckers thinking they're gonna come and I'm the judge. Yeah. No. Back when I was in high school, we would gather at the food court, and that's where we played the games, and that's where the name Pegasus Court came from. It was because of you and Optimus Code dubbed us the Pegasus Nation because we have a preference for greatness. There's nothing wrong with that. And also, I was like, it's kind of like that food court atmosphere. Like, everybody's on lunch. That's usually when the spaces pop off. I don't want to go on too long, but holler at me on Twitter, yo. I'm all up. I'm all about preaching power to the people. My ears are always open as long as you're not full of shit. Everybody's welcome on the Pegasus Corner. If you can hold your weight and you can slang it, then that's what we talking about. So I'll let your boy Guapzilla in the house. Much love to the people, yo. Thanks, Puerto Rock, for having me on again. This was so much fun. Like,
yeah, this was a good one.
It's been a tough 2 years, man, and we need this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I will always support it 1,000% with every ounce of energy in my body, bro.
Yeah, man.
Salute to you, P-Rock.
So give him a follow. Give Guap a follow. Great spaces, man. If you ain't following him and miss out spaces, I'm telling you, you're missing out on some great spaces Guap be doing. All right, tell me. And
just for the record, it's all rated R content. So when you do come through, just make sure you on your grown folk shit.
Who was that dude who waited 3 hours just to tell him I hate everybody? This shit is
that was the funny. He came right at BG's neck. He was like, I had my hand up for 3 hours. I just wanted to say, fuck BG. Yo, shout out to BG. He's a true luminary in the gaming industry. Love him or hate him. That dude will educate your ass on how to network, how to build a network in a brand. And I respect that brother, man. That dude, he's a big brain out here. Shout out to all the big brains. P-Rock, Persona, J-Dub, J Barry, all the real motherfuckers. Like, much love, man. Much love. Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right. Shout out to Tommy Boo. He says Series S is like a store brand console. It's like buying your shoes from Fabco. I think only Persona would know what I'm talking about.
Fabico.
You know what I'm talking about.
That's the hood store. You go to that before you go to school shopping.
That's where your parents are getting your sneakers from.
Yes, sir. Get them K-Swiss up out of there back in the day. That's a fact.
I think only the New Yorkers will get that one. Just look up Fabco shoes.
That's why, you try and get you a fresh pair of K-Swiss back in the 90s?
Oh, shit.
Get up that Fabco store real quick. K-Swiss and New Balance.
I don't know what made me think of that. I haven't thought about that store.
Think of Fabco as the hood Payless.
That's pretty much before Payless shoes, there was Fabco.
That's the hood Payless.
Shit. Oh, shit. Cloak Onyx, he said, Guap is right. My monitor on has VR through DisplayPort, not HDMI. That monitor was $800. I'll have to drop probably $1,200 plus for HDMI 2.1 monitor. It might be a little bit cheaper depending on the brands, because I paid $1,200 for my Q80T, and that was in 2020. So
hey, P-Rock, I just want to give a quick shout out. Shout out to Cloaked Onyx. He's one of the real scientists out here. That boy, he's trying to learn, man. Like,
shout out to Cloak, man. Shout out to Cloak.
Yeah, shout out to Cloak. He's out. He's trying to. I respect it, because when he came to me, he did not know, and he said, I want to embrace the learning process. And I said, bro, you have to put your biases aside, right?
Yeah.
Follow the scientific process, and it'll lead you to promised land. And all of a sudden, this man is enlightened, and he's doing a lot of the research and the information and the data we're collecting. He's on the forefront of that.
Yeah.
He's even been working in tandem with King Thrash, who's one of the greatest scientists in the black community when it comes to this technology. He's also schooling Cloak. So we're all about motherfuckers that don't bias, that want to truly come and learn. With that, shout out to Cloak, shout out to King Thrash, and much love to the chat, yo.
All right. And Project Cloud.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So, yeah, I guess the dinosaur, belongs in a museum with some of my views, I guess. But
my man, you still rocking Indiana Jones?
Heck yeah! I can't wait for that game. Yeah, if Starfield falls, Indiana Jones is going to come in with that whip, man. he's going to start whipping up.
He's going to try, man. He's going to be like 90 years old with arthritis. And shit.
I know, man.
Hell,
he's going to do it.
The little.
Oh yes.
The little Chinese kid from the Temple of Doom has like grandchildren. Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Man.
He's coming in.
Oh man.
Gonna kick some Nazis.
That shit just demonetize my channel now. Great. That's all you did with that trash. Now I'm just playing, man. Hey, thanks for rocking out. Well, anyway, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers, I hope you enjoyed the show. Great conversations. I'm glad Guap and Persona was able to jump by because they knocked it out. They hit that nuclear option. You know what I'm saying? Project Cloud, thanks for coming through. We had Derek Jeter up in here. He's doing his farewell tour. So, shout out to J-Dub for rocking it through. And, of course, Craig Harris. Next week, J-Bar's coming back. I guess his channel's out of jail now. So now he's back doing his thing on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to talking with him next week. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a great week. So for everybody, since Sony did their earnings call, I'm going to do what I did last time. So tomorrow, I'm going to listen to their earnings call. And then probably Thursday or Friday, I'm going to upload a video. Not live, but upload a video. And kind of do what I did last day. Give up the quick bullet points, quick notes. Because I'm already seeing it looks like bullshit from like these IGN articles, whatever. So I like to hear it myself. But just like that, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the earnings call. No bias. It's going to be no bias, just straight up the information. And just to provide you a good background of what they actually said during the investors call. All right, so stay tuned Thursday or Friday for that upload video. Because I know a lot of you appreciated it when I did it the first time. So I'm going to do it again. But anyway, you guys take care. This is your boy PorterRock77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. I will check you out and stay tuned for that video. To the panel, to the guests, thank you so much for rocking out. Really enjoyed the conversation, you guys. Thank you for bringing your inputs to the table. Anyway, see you guys next week. All right? You guys take care. Peace. And hit that like button.
All right, guys, I got to get to bed, man. Appreciate y'all, bro.
Appreciate it. Hey, thanks.